I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
The double vaccination rate has reached 70% in SA. We hit the milestone over the weekend. It comes just over 2 weeks out from the state reopening on November 23. 83% of South Australians have had one dose. Australia's top doctors, though, are reassuring people the COVID vaccine is safe and effective. Just over 80% of the Australian population, aged 16 and over, is now fully vaccinated. Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr Sonia Bennett is urging people still thinking about getting the vaccine to get it.
The vaccine development went through rigorous processes. In Australia, we have our own rigorous processes through the TGA and through ATAGI. And we've now seen over 36 million doses in individuals in Australia, and we know that the vaccine is safe and effective.
Far North Queensland is on COVID alert after a Cairns woman tested positive to the virus. The 21-year-old travelled to Adelaide, then to Melbourne and back home before going to Darwin, which has sparked new restrictions in the top end. Exposure sites have been identified in Cairns. The wife of a 57-year-old shark attack victim has addressed the media to thank those involved in the search for her husband. Paul Millerchip was killed by a shark while swimming at Port Beach in North Fremantle yesterday. An extensive marine search has failed to find his body. The search has now been suspended. His wife of 35 years has thanked a group of teenagers who used a dinghy to warn others to get out of the water.
Special mention to those young lads in the boat. For what they did in what must have been an absolutely terrifying experience for them. So my heart goes out to them and I thank them for what they did.
In the US, rapper Travis Scott says he's reaching out to the families of the 8 people who were killed at his concert in Houston. Nine's US correspondent Michael Genovese reports.
24 hours after his Houston concert was cancelled, Travis Scott released a video saying he had no idea fans were injured and dying in the crowd.
Anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need.
The rapper says he'll help the families of the 8 people killed when the crowd surged towards the stage at his Astroworld concert. More than 300 people were injured. Police are investigating whether appropriate safety measures were put in place.
The Adelaide Cabaret Festival will be back in June 2022 with the first 4 shows revealed today. The festival's Alex Sinclair says the first event will be in March.
The biggest and most exciting thing to talk about is the Variety Gala launch. Rather than opening the festival, which we have traditionally done, we're going to launch our program on the 25th of March, and it's just going to give audiences a great opportunity to witness firsthand what the program's going to look like come June.
It will be hosted by the festival's artistic director Tina Arena and Paul McDermott. Now to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And it's good morning to Tom Rehn.
A very good morning to you as well, Mel. We're going to start with some cricket, and Australia is set to face Pakistan in the 2020 World Cup semi-finals. Pakistan has topped its group with a 72-run win over Scotland, meaning they're the only unbeaten side heading into the knockout stages. New Zealand, meantime, has secured its spot in the semi-finals following a comfortable 8-wicket win against Afghanistan. The Kiwis will now take on England in the other semi-final, meaning India misses out. Well, the Formula One's Mexican Grand Prix is underway. Max Verstappen currently leads the race. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo is in 17th place for McLaren. Meantime, Aussie Remy Gardner has one hand on the MotoGP2 title after winning the Algarve Grand Prix. Well, the Wallabies' winning streak has come to an end, defeated by Scotland 15-13 in a nail-biter at Murrayfield. Skipper Michael Hooper says they let themselves down with some poor discipline throughout the match.
Coming down to the wire, it's always tough. We had a couple of chances there. We're leading with 10 to go or so. So, we had a sniff of it, but, Scotland did really well to grind that one out.
Audio thanks to Stan Sport there. And West Ham has ended Liverpool's 25-game unbeaten streak in all competitions with a 3-2 win at home in the English Premier League. In this morning's other matches, Arsenal beat Watford 1-0, Leicester and Leeds have drawn 1-1, while Everton and Tottenham also shared the points in a 0-0 draw. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
Hereford Recliners, handcrafted for your ultimate comfort. Call 1300 114 118.
Partly cloudy today, a top of 20. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. Wednesday, a shower or 2 and 21. Right now, it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEaa. 'Cause when the loving starts and the
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast. Coming up on the program this morning, we're off to the US before 7 o'clock today. We'll take you through this horrific incident that took place at a concert in Houston. It was called Astro World. A host of people died, including one as young as 14. We've got the details for you, and we'll play you an eyewitness account just before 7 o'clock this morning that really gives you a sense of what it was like to be there as this concert kicked off and the crowd just got out of control. We'll also talk snake season. We're getting to that part of the year where snakes have become an issue. Our resident snake catcher, Rolly Burrell, will be on the program after 7:30. The snakes may not have seen the forecast, though. I reckon you've got another week, if you've got an issue in your area, though, to call out Rolly or someone similar. Tina Rehn will be on the program. We're speaking with her about the Cabaret Festival program launch today after 8 o'clock. And, of course, the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Koshua. Cannot wait to talk to him about the life of the great Russell Ebert. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Very sad news late Friday. The death of the legendary Russell Ebert. I can't think of a bigger figure in Australian football in my lifetime. I know that people of an older generation will talk of Robran, Lindsay Head, but for people of my age, growing up watching football in the 70s, he was the man. He was the guy. And even if you hated Port, you always respect the Russell Ebert. You wouldn't begrudge that bloke a single one of the... It's remarkable, isn't it? 4 Magarey medals. Just incredible.
Well, the thing about him too, and this is some of your legacies made when your football career finishes.
Yeah,
he's the loveliest bloke you could ever meet.
He is.
I remember I worked with him when I first went to Australia Live TV, and they had this real buzz the first time I worked with this team with KG and Phil Smythe and Russell Ebert. They're all part. I just remember him just being the most. Ed wouldn't have known me from a bar of a block of wood. Could not have been a nicer human being.
Yeah.
Just a really warm human with time for absolutely everybody. A gentle guy.
Yeah, really gentle bloke.
And obviously a legend. And as you point out, the guy to be universally loved in any sport whilst playing for the most divisive team in that sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Is probably the hardest thing to do in sport.
Yeah.
You play for the team that everyone either loves or loves to hate. And you just end up totally loved. Good luck trying to achieve that in a career.
See, I think the thing with those Port teams of the 70s and 80s and 90s, because the period of greatness was extended for Port in the SANFL, was I never really hated them. I actually really sort of respected them. Don't get me started on the Norwood Football Club. That's a different story. But I just had this really grudging admiration for them. And sure, they had some hard nuts like Bomber Clifford, and obviously, everyone remembers Old Grave Danger, but Ebert was just superb. And he was one of those players too, as a footballer, being a Sturt guy, my favourite player, and it deserves to be thrown into the top 10 of all time, I reckon, in South Australia's Paul Bagshaw. Ebert, like Bagshaw, and you'd have to say better than Bagshaw, was one of those players who could play slow, if that makes sense. He looked like he had all the time in the world.
Yep.
A really thoughtful player, and those huge hands, and you just sort of see him going, all right, now I'm going to do this. And it was like everyone else was a tier below him.
Yeah.
But what you said, Will, about the off-the-field and post-football stuff, I got to know him reasonably well through Jim's old primary school, Grange Primary, because his grandson, and I extend my sympathies to the family because I know how much Russell meant to them. He'd come along to watch his grandson play in school primary level football. And I used to joke, particularly given that Scott Hodges' son was in the team as well, there's this useless half-wit like me whose career peaked playing Year 10 football, back pocket, Marion High. I can barely handball. I'm a shockingly poor footballer. Purely because of the hours that I work in radio, I end up coaching this side. I'll be standing there with my clipboard and the magnets on Saturdays with Russell Ebert and Scott Hodges standing next to me. And I'd look at them and go, why am I doing this? And Russell would go, oh, mate, no, it's good. The kid's having a great time. He's doing a good job. And I used to I'd often go to him and go, what do you reckon? Is that the right move? And he's always, yeah, that's great. Like, he's just the loveliest man.
Funny you mentioned handballing too, given, the bloke, one of the great things you see when a great sports person passes away is a compilation of just great moments. And because he's of an era where it wasn't the internet era where everything's uploaded and playing ad nauseum, you ain't going to see a lot of it on repeat. And to see him on his knees, that handball that's considered the greatest of all time, where he's on his knees and he fires at about 40 metres to advantage to a teammate running an open goal, is genuinely breathtaking. So it's funny to think you're saying you can't handball. Yeah. He's the greatest exponent of it in the history of football.
Oh, yeah.
11 after 6. There was a lovely tribute that was played on Saturday morning. You might have heard it with KG and Cornsey. They did a terrific job all morning, in fact, and beyond that as well, because the coverage on the death of Russell Ebert went well into Saturday on 5AA. But one of the things they did was play this terrific montage. We will be playing it after 7 o'clock this morning. So if you missed it and you've heard about it and people have said this was really something else, make sure you stick around wherever you are, whatever you're doing this morning. We'll play it probably around 7:10 a little bit later today. It's coming up to 12 after 6. News headlines in a moment. We'll try to get to the bottom of where summer went too. It started to feel like summer at various times late last week. This week,
it's swimming in the sea.
Is that right?
On Saturday.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. You really embraced it. Well, you won't be this week.
No.
It's not cold, but it's just not like it was. We'll speak with the Bureau shortly. 12 after 6.
Life is busy. SportsMed knows this. We also know your joint pain or knee injuries don't finish for the day at 5 p.m. That's why we've extended our consultation hours into the evening. It's just another way that SportsMed cares for our patients. And booking to see our surgeons after hours is easy. Simply visit sportsmed.com.au to find out more. All your treatments, all your care, one place. SportsMed. So much more than sport.
For 37 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip. Now that spring is here, Steinborner Automotive Gawler has stocked up with 40 hand-picked 2018-19 ZB Commodores. Choose from a range of factory edition or special black edition with black roof and black wheels. That's 2018 and 2019 ZB Commodores from $22,990, all with a balance of factory warranty. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Now, I'm sure there's one thing we'd all like in retirement, and that's to live comfortably and affordably with a warm and welcoming community.
And look, well, the good news is that thanks to our good friends at Southern Cross Care, you can do exactly that, Will.
Yes, not only does Southern Cross Care offer a range of better retirement living options at locations and prices to suit you and your lifestyle, but right now you can be part of these vibrant communities located at Paraka, Payneham and Plympton. And here's the other thing they're doing, and this is exciting, they're in suburbs that don't begin with P too.
That's right, not just Paraka, Payneham and Plympton. How's this? Well-appointed one-bedroom units. They've been stylishly refurbished and they offer a low-maintenance lifestyle, giving you more time to enjoy what you like doing most. And the best part, how's this? Prices start from only $71,900, but you'd better hurry because they're selling fast.
For more information, visit southerncrosscare.com.au.
The time is now. An opportunity to tell a new and unique story. 88 O'Connell, a connected community with swimming pools, gym, indoor and outdoor dining, fresh food marketplace and high-end retail shopping. 2, 3 or 4 bedroom apartments with unparalleled views to the city, hills, coast and beyond. The long-awaited display suite is now open, showcasing the incredible lifestyle on offer at 88 O'Connell. More than an address. 88 O'Connell, North Adelaide.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
15 minutes after 6, news headlines on this Monday morning. SA's hit a major COVID vaccination milestone. Just over a fortnight from reopening the borders, the double vaccination rate has reached 70%.
G'day.
The next target is 80%. The number of South Australians who've had one dose is sitting at 83%. As of today, 70% looks remarkably similar to 69%, though, doesn't it?
So are we going to get, we've got, 15 days until November 23?
Yep.
So we're going to jump 10% in 15 days?
Do we need to?
Well, according to that back of the beer coaster roadmap. We do, don't we? Don't we need to be at 80%?
Okay.
And that's the point at which you can have 10 extra people around to your house.
I don't know anything. I've got heard no whispers. No one's saying anything to me. But what would you put the percentage chance at that November 23 doesn't happen right now?
Doesn't happen?
Yeah. And the only reason I say it, how many different groups have to come out seemingly every couple of days to say, we have no idea how any of this is going to affect us?
Yeah.
The hotels don't know how it's going to affect them. Schools don't know how it's going to affect them.
Well, I think we'll get the clarity this week. We'd better. Well, the Premier, he said last week, he had the meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's all systems go.
This will be the detail week.
When do people get to know?
Well, you need to give them a bit of warning.
But we need a bit of warning about what happens if you get a case at your workplace. What happens if there's one in your school? What does it mean for your whole business? What does it mean for that employee?
Having said November 23, they can't change
I know, they can't. But we just need to learn something about it at some point, don't we?
Yeah, well, exactly. But I think we will.
Hopefully. The search for a man attacked by a shark off a Perth beach has been suspended. Paul Millichip was swimming at Port Beach in North Fremantle when he was attacked. He and his wife had just been for their regular walk along the coastline. The attack sparked a massive marine search that was called off after 30 hours with no sign of the 57-year-old. His wife of 35 years thanked a group of teenagers who witnessed the tragedy unfold and warned others to get out of the water.
And I thank them for what they did. He died what he enjoyed doing the most. Rest in peace, Paul.
That poor woman. Those kids are remarkable. They're an amazing story. They were in the thick of it, apparently. But this is like, total suburban beach. This isn't like remote sort of, Eyre Peninsula type going surfing at Cactus scenario. This is like going for a dip down at Brighton.
It's just desperately unlucky, isn't it?
It doesn't sound like he was miles offshore either.
No. You just finished your walk.
Yeah.
You're not going to swim a marathon, are you? Sounds like he was just cooling off. The University of Sydney is the newest home of an ancient Egyptian artefact. The figurine, known as a shabadi, dates to the 18th dynasty, has been spotted on the set of Downton Abbey. Okay. Deputy Director Dr. Paul Donnelly has decoded the hieroglyphics inscribed onto the statue.
On the front of the shabti on the body, it says, Sentinib, she says, over this shabti, if one there in the necropolis calls upon Sentinib for works which are done there as a woman, according to her duties, in order to cultivate marshland fields, to irrigate riverbank fields, to ferry sand from west to east, behold me, you will say. In other words, do my work for me.
Wow.
Remarkable.
We should have got it here for the Adelaide Museum. We've got that terrific Egyptian room there. I love that room.
How do they decide where these things go? Is it a bidding process? Is it all financial?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they apportion based on foot traffic? I'd love to know. Why wouldn't we get something like that?
It would be a perfect fit for that Egypt room. They've got a mummified cat in there.
Yeah, it'd be terrific. It is fantastic. Adelaide Museum's great.
Yeah, I love it.
New South Wales is predicted to hit the 90% double dose mark in the coming days. COVID restrictions have been wound back further for fully vaccinated people in the state. More people can gather at a home. In fact, there are no limits now on how many people you have around your place. Business density limits have been relaxed. Dance floors can open. A Cairns resident, though, has put Far North Queensland on COVID alert after spending time in the community and interstate while infectious. Iraq's Prime Minister is calling for calm and restraint after surviving a drone attack on his home in Baghdad.
This is amazing.
This was just extraordinary.
They reckon Iran were behind it, don't they?
Well, that's where the fingers are often pointed. But, it's amazing the technology gap in defence. It gets caught up quick. Drones were a futuristic weapons platform that were used by the United States going back, a decade or two? And now they're being used...
Now you're at JB Hi-Fi.
They're being used by everyone on planet Earth to commit all sorts of things, like an assassination attempt on the Iraqi Prime Minister. A crash at Largs Bay is under investigation. A car slammed into a fence on Alexander Street late yesterday afternoon. The driver, a 49-year-old Manapara West man, and a rear passenger, a 20-year-old Taparoo man, were unhurt. The front passenger, a 22-year-old Largs Bay man, was taken to the RAH for treatment and non-life-threatening injuries, so that was good news. The Adelaide Cabaret Festival will be back in June this year, with the first 4 shows revealed today. The festival's Alex Sinclair says the first event will be held in March.
The biggest
And most exciting thing to talk about is the Variety Gala launch. Rather than opening the festival, which we have traditionally done, we're going to launch our program on the 25th of March, and it's just going to give audiences a great opportunity to witness firsthand what the program's going to look like come June.
And we're going to be speaking with Artistic Director Tina Rehn.
Looking forward to that.
A bit later in the morning.
She's an inspired appointment, fantastic singer. Speaking of people you grew up with, very much part of our lives is the young singer on Young Talent Time.
11.8 degrees outside at the moment. Top of 20 today. Doesn't get a whole lot warmer than that over the course of the week. 22 tomorrow. Wednesday we might get a little drizzle and up to 21. Thursday could be significant rain though. Might get up to 10 mils on Thursday and a top of just 18. Friday, the rain will linger, maybe up to 6 mils and 19. Saturday, 3 mils and 18. Then Sunday, 6 mils and 18. So this might be the last good drenching the garden gets before the long dry of summer. 21 after 6. Few texts on the Telstra Storm Outbacker text line.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of love here for Russell Ebert. Jay says, as a Bays supporter, I never liked Port, but I always admired the great Russell Ebert. His genius transcended club rivalries. R.I.P. you legend. Then Mark in Para Hill says, R.I.P. Russell. I met him while he was coaching Woodville. The most humble man I've ever met. Even though he came from Port. Mark from Para Hill says there's a lot of non-Port people sending in messages. Brian on the Facebook live stream, top players in SA history, the top 4 players in SA football history, Robin, Ebert, Bagshaw and Daylight. There you go. Who's Daylight?
Good on you, Brian. 8223 is that number. You can text us too on the Telstra Storm Outbacker text line 044808 1395. We'll talk sport with Tom Rehn in just a moment.
If you or someone you know has lost the capacity to communicate, get in touch with Talkative Allied Health Speech Pathology. It may be through stroke, MND, brain injury or another condition. Talkative Allied Health Speech Pathology help young adults and seniors communicate again, working with you, your family and other allied health professionals to ensure a holistic approach to your care. Together, we'll find a way to improve the quality of your life. So, let's talk. Visit talkativealliedhealth.com.
Hi, Crystal here from Southside Suzuki. Suzuki has always had a great reputation for not only being fun to drive, but reliable too. Like our range of SUVs, including the Suzuki Vitara, Jimny and S-Cross. All 3 are feature-packed and offer incredible value for money. Find out for yourself. View the range and book your test drive online at southsidesuzuki.com.au. Life's a beach, Southside Suzuki. LVD 2009.
Now, there's a new way to get your hands on the best phone, furniture, computer or white goods without having to pay for them up front. That's the key bit. You don't have to pay up front. It's a new service called Snaffle. So with Snaffle, you don't have to empty your bank account to buy the things you need. You simply subscribe to Snaffle, get the stuff you want and pay for it over 1, 2 or 3 years. And Snaffle, they've got all your favourite brands available to buy. Apple, Sony, Dyson, Smeg, Weber, Samsung, hundreds of products to choose from. And you'll avoid the shock of a large upfront payment and get to choose the contract length that suits your life. Want it? Snaffle it now. Check it out today at snaffle.com.au. T's and C's and lending criteria apply. Walker Stores, Proprietary Limited, Australian Credit Licence 393023.
Got a picture of your dream bathroom in your head? Then your builder or project manager saying, we can't get that in Adelaide? Well, there's a great chance you can. Just ask for ABK Supplies, Adelaide Bathroom and Kitchen Supplies. As a local independent specialist, ABK Supplies has a massive range of brands, not just the ones your builder is stuck with. Get your dream bathroom or kitchen renovation products sooner. Ask for ABK Supplies. Go to abksupplies.com.au or see the showroom, Lower North East Road, opposite Dernacourt Village.
There's no blueprints to your new custom-built Beechwood home. Well, not yet anyway. But together with Beechwood, it won't take long to turn your ideas into sketches, then drawings, and finally a home you can live a beautiful life in. That's the really exciting thing about building with Beechwood Homes. They'll build the home you want. So collect your thoughts, your ideas, your Pinterest boards, whatever, and let's talk. Because life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
25 minutes after 6, Tom Rehn of the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. You can save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Morning to you, Tom Rehn.
Morning to you, Will and David. I hope you both had a fantastic weekend.
Cracker.
And well spoken about Russell Ebert too this morning. And it was a very emotional weekend for a lot of Port fans. And I think not just Port fans, but, you know, all of those football lovers here in this state. So well done to everyone. And,
I think it makes people, obviously most specifically, heartbreaking for the Ebert family. There's also a little bit of melancholy to it because it makes you miss an era when the SANFL was king, which it isn't anymore, obviously.
And he was the king of it.
Yeah, yeah. It was him at his peak was the SANFL at its peak.
Yeah.
Where there'd be, you know, what's the record? What's still the record? The 76 Sturt Port game, biggest crowd ever for anything in South Australia.
It was 70,000 plus, wasn't it?
Yeah, because they were letting people sit on the grass.
You could sit in the boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those images of him lifting up the cup, and I think it was 77. You know,
more than 76.
And he's just, you know, one of those iconic people that will be revered for forever, and he's got a lasting legacy.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, amazing stuff. Let's go to our winners and losers from the sporting perspective over the weekend. I've got to start with some cricket. Look, we've been on them a little bit because they've been poor at times, but got to give the Aussies a thumbs up. I watched a fair bit of that game against the Windies, and they belted them. Bit of an end of an era as well for the West Indies with Chris Gale. Goodness, he looks like Old Man River now. He's 42 years of age. It's time to go. And Dwayne Bravo, both, you know, sailing off into the sunset. They've been two iconic players. But the Aussies, a big winner. They're through to the semi-finals. I've got to say the losers from the World Cup, India, for all the fanfare of their cricket side, they've performed horribly at this World Cup.
Their fans will really care. Like Australia doesn't give a toss about T20, but they will care.
They will care,
big
and
time.
It makes you wonder how much pressure goes on the captain, Virat Kohli, who is almost God over there. He's going to cop it, and I think that team will cop it more generally. So, bad performance from them. They've got another T20 World Cup coming up next year, so they don't have to wait that long. We'll keep going with the winners and losers. James McDonald, 10 winners over the Cup Carnival. Record, breaks Rebel. So, amazing effort from him. He rode the Zaki over the weekend and Nature Strip and rode them beautifully. Fantastic carnival. He's the hottest jockey in Australia right now, and it's a good time to be in form. He would have cleaned up. He's one that's probably benefited. Now, he's a very good jockey in his own right, but with suspensions to so many other good jockeys, he's picked up a lot of strong rides and deserves all the kudos at the moment. Fantastic effort from him over the weekend. I'll give Luka Doncic, I was thinking of you, Will, when I put this one down. Buzzer beater yesterday against the Boston Celtics. He had no right to hit that.
He hits
1 second.
That's what he does. He's a superstar, that bloke.
He's in the conversation for MVP,
isn't he? Yeah. Well, if he's not the favourite, he's equal favourite at the moment.
That's like the Brownlow, the MVP.
Yeah, right. And he's still super young. He's just an absolute superstar. But it was preceded by one of the dumbest players of the year. The Boston Celtics had a foul to give in the last quarter that guaranteed they wouldn't get the ball back. So they created a scenario where he would have the last say. It was either going to go into overtime or they're going to win it on the best young player in the world's fingertips, and that's precisely what happened. So it was genius on his part, total stupidity on the Boston Celtics part.
And they're battling a little bit at the moment.
They are a bit.
Very early.
Real issues.
Also, Manchester City, I'll give them a winner over the weekend. They won one of the most intense derbies there is in modern soccer, the derby against Manchester United. Who are my losers? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is unfortunately dead man walking. He is gone. I'm hearing this morning that Brendan Rodgers has signed in principle. He's the former Liverpool manager and Leicester. So that he is likely to take over Manchester United, looking for a change.
They're falling below Arsenal, who were the basket case story of the start of the Premier League season.
Yep.
It is remarkable, and it all happens whilst Cristiano Ronaldo's kicking goals for fun.
Exactly. There's just no system though. There's no cohesion. My other two losers though, the Wallabies. They lost 15-13 overnight to Scotland, and happened just as we were going into the weekend. But Denny Van Hagen, she's my other loser from the weekend. She's going to lose her job, lose her contract with the Crows, or at least be stood down indefinitely.
So a whole lot of nothing at the club now.
Look, part of me respects...
What do they call it? The inactive list.
Yeah. Part of me respects the fact that she's standing by her convictions. She obviously believes strongly enough in them. I don't agree with them, but she stands to lose a fair bit as a result of her personal choice.
66,987 tickets were sold for the 1976 grand final, but they opened the gates, and after that point in time, it becomes a bit of urban legend, but the suggestion is maybe 15,000 more came in.
Wow.
So it would take it up to around 82,000 people.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there. You were the only one.
No. Don't know why we weren't there.
Good on you, Tom Rehn.
Thanks, boys. Good stuff.
Cheers, Tom. Save it to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher.
This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Partly cloudy and 20 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
70% of eligible South Australians have now rolled up their sleeves twice to get a COVID vaccine. SA hit the double-vaxxed milestone on the weekend, but Dr Chris Moy from the AMA says more people need to be jabbed by November 23 when the state reopens.
Well, it's nice, but it's not enough. We've really got to get up into the 80 and 90%. So really, COVID is coming. It is coming.
The Carnarvon community in WA has gathered for a Thanksgiving service following the safe return of Cleo Smith to her family. Police and other responders were in attendance. Cleo was discovered at a Carnarvon house 18 days after she went missing from a campsite. A man has been charged over her abduction. The corporate regulator is being urged to investigate how life insurers treat people with mental health conditions. Nine's Maham Kashani reports.
The Public Interest Advocacy Centre says people who've previously sought mental health treatment have faced life insurance exclusion, cancelled policies or refused claims due to alleged failures to declare conditions. The group argues everyone should be able to access insurance that suits their needs without fear of stigma. A report shows since 2012 the Advocacy Centre has helped about 180 people with advice or representation over insurance disputes linked to mental health. Most were related to life insurance.
Shoppers are being urged to check how much of the product they're buying has been reused during National Recycling Week. Federal Environment Minister Susan Lee says people should vote with their wallet.
I think when they pick something up and have a look at the label, is it recycled? And to really feel confident, because we kick-started the Recycling Modernisation Fund with $190 million. It's now at $800 million because business and industry and companies are all stepping up to manufacture recycled products.
Jemima Khan, who was a close friend of Princess Diana's, has revealed she worked on The Crown but has since severed ties with the production. Nine's Europe correspondent Brett McLeod has more.
Journalist turned film producer Jemima Khan knows about the pressures of marriage in the spotlight when she was wife of Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. She says she was asked to help script the latest series of The Crown, drawing on her friendship with Diana at the time of her marriage breakup and subsequent relationships. But she says when it became apparent the portrayal of her friend was not as respectful as she wanted, she withdrew from the series. Producers of The Crown say Jemima Khan provided extensive background information to writers, but she's never been contracted as a writer on the series.
The Adelaide Cabaret Festival has revealed the first 4 shows for next year's event. That includes a one-night-only variety gala event in March, ahead of the festival itself in June. The festival's Alex Sinclair says artistic director Tina Arena will also have her own show along with a nightly cabaret club.
Tina Arena's headline show, which is Songs My Mother Taught Me. Tina will be joined by Lior, Tando, Jess Hitchcock and Sophie Coe to sing songs that have been inspired by the love of their families.
Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Australia will meet Pakistan in the 2020 World Cup semi-finals after Pakistan won its 5th and final match to secure top spot in its group. They won their match by 72 runs against Scotland. New Zealand, meantime, has secured 2nd spot in that group after a comfortable 8-wicket win against Afghanistan. Well, Novak Djokovic has won the Rolex Paris Masters by beating Daniil Medvedev in 3 sets. Nine's Craig Gabriel reports that it's been quite the week for the world number 1.
It was only the 2nd time in the tournament's history and the first since 1990 that the world's top 2 men were playing the final. That year, 1 beat 2. The numbers played out the same as Djokovic came back to win 4-6, 6-3, 6-3 over Medvedev. He's now won the Paris double, having claimed the French Open earlier in the year. He now has a record 37th Masters 1000, a record 6th title at this event, and ends the year at number 1 for a record 7th time.
Ange Postecoglou's Celtic continue to impress, recording a 4-2 win in the Scottish Premier League with that victory against Dundee overnight. Meantime, in the English Premier League, West Ham's dream start to the season has continued following a 3-2 win against Liverpool. Arsenal's resurgence has also continued after a 1-0 victory over Watford. Elsewhere, Everton and Tottenham shared the points in a 0-0 draw, while Leeds and Leicester also drew 1-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hereford recliners, handcrafted for your ultimate comfort. Call 1300 114 118.
A partly cloudy Monday, heading for a top of 20. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. Wednesday, a shower or two, 21. Right now, it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I'm on top of the world. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 minutes to 7. World Kindness Day is this Saturday. The rest of the year, you can be totally miserable to people.
I was going to say.
No, you can't. It's along with Community Living Australia, we'll be promoting good deeds and pledging acts of kindness across Adelaide all this week. Keep an eye out for the Community Living Australia and 5AA street team this morning. They're out and about handing out free coffees in Gawler Street, Mount Barker.
That's very kind.
All thanks to Brother Bear Whole Food Cafe.
Beautiful little street, Gawler Street.
I put, there's free. There's tiers of what good free stuff. Everything free's good, but a free coffee. Someone hands you a coffee,
like a proper one.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's gold.
That's up there.
It is right up there. Keep listening all this week to find out how you can help 5AA celebrate World Kindness Day. Community Living Australia, positively impacting people living with disabilities, online on Facebook and Instagram. Check them out at Community Living Australia. Daniel in Paynham's called in, was at the 1976 Grand Final we were speaking about with Tom Rehn a moment ago. Morning, Daniel.
Yes, good morning, Will and David. Look, I've got to say that in 1976, my mate Rob and his young brother-in-law, we went to a football park to watch that game. When we got there, the line-up to get to the gates, they were about 50 metre long, and people were walking the other way telling us, guys, you're wasting your time. You're not going to get in. You can't stand anywhere. Anyhow, we had come all that way, and we thought, no, we're going to persist here. So we lined up with the rest of them and got in the ground. Well, when we got in, shoulder to shoulder, we walked right around the oval. then from the side of my eye, I saw these security guys open some gates, and they let people through. And I said to Rob, look, Rob, let's just wait here. Let's wait here a moment. And a few minutes later, they opened the gate again, and Rob and I got in, and his young brother-in-law got left behind the gate, and he virtually started crying.
Oh, no.
But there's so much so that the security guy opened the gate and let just him through. You can imagine how hard they were. Anyhow, that gate was where the ambulance ramp went down to the oval, and that's where we finished up watching the game from.
That's a great story.
After that, they opened the gate to the ground and they sat people around the boundary. So, look, if they're saying online, they're saying 66,000 people, I'm telling you guys that there were more than that.
Oh, yeah, Daniel, that's a great story, mate. Thank you for calling in.
Just looking now, as Daniel was talking, I just did a Google Images search on the 76 Grand Final, and the crowd, the photos are just fantastic. So you think about SA's population. The population at the time couldn't have been much more than about 700,000 of the state.
You're in probably 10% of the state.
One in every 10 people was at the game.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It's almost as though if there was a time diametrically opposed to this time that we're currently living in terms of social distancing, it might have been the 1976 Grand Final.
No social distancing there.
It's the opposite of a density limit.
And it really was the age that health and safety forgot, wasn't
Clearly.
it? Like every single exit ramp, the ambulance ramp, there's people standing everywhere. It's amazing.
Possible to achieve. Nobody got hurt that I have ever heard stories of on the day.
Still getting texts about Russell Lee, but keep them coming, folks, on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line. Brett says, when I was a young boy growing up in the early 80s, there was Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and then there was Russell Lee, but good text. Thank you, mate.
All right, let's check traffic. Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package where you can book your next service at Glenelg BMW?
Good morning. At Kent Town, Gold Water Main works at Decatable Terrace continuing near Rundle Street. Speeds down to 40 k's there. In Torrens Park, slow going Belair Road near Blythewood Road for works. Myrtle Bank still got those asphalt works continuing. That's on Cross Road in between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Look out for detours in place. And expected to be slow going as well at Maylands. That's Portrush Road and McGill Road for those intersection upgrade works. OTR's got your summer sorted with their Sea Coffee Iced range. Delicious iced coffee, iced chocolate and the new iced matcha. Order your favourite today at OTR. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
At Swan Security, we've been keeping Australian homes safe for over 30 years, and we're number one for do-it-yourself CCTV and video security. Swan has a complete lineup from wireless cameras and doorbells to complete multi-camera wide systems, all viewable and controllable from your mobile phone. And you can see the complete range of Swan's smart home security products now at Bunnings Warehouse. So turn your home sweet home into a home safe home with Swan Security from Bunnings Warehouse.
Now, you might think it's hard to get excited about shelving, but not when you're talking about Sharman Shelving.
Not hard to get excited about shelving at all. Any time is a good time to get in touch with Sharman Shelving and get your workshop fitted out.
From workbenches, shelving, cabinets, tool trolleys, open-angle shelving, stainless steel benches, steel cupboards, even van and cool room shelving, Sharman Shelving can literally do anything. You go in there and say, I want the David Penberthy, or I want the Stephen Rowe.
Yep.
They'll make you a shelf that looks like them.
They'll probably have one already there. Because I described my vision to Bill, and he went, yeah, well, I reckon we got one of them.
Really?
Yeah. And don't take our word for it. Check out their website. It's fantastic. Or go and visit their Facebook page. You'll be blown away with what the team at Sharman Shelving can do, and they make the whole process so easy.
So if you're in business, Sharman Shelving should be your first go-to for a workshop fit-out. The possibilities are endless. Ask Christine or Bill. They'll do you up a free measure and quote. Just jump online, sharmanshelving.com.au, or head in, 412 North East Road, Windsor Gardens.
G'day, it's Jason Hodges here. As a landscaper, I've seen plenty of lawns. Did you know there's more than 200 varieties of lawn in Australia? And the turf farm has checked out every last one of them and rejected 95% of them. Yep, they've got high standards. So, if you want a lawn that looks magnificent year-round, you need these guys, because the Turf Farm lawns come with the famous Lawn Solutions Australia 10-year warranty. Plus, they're great people. Create your happy place. theturffarm.com.au.
G'day, it's Rowie with Eddie May from NRG Solar. Now, Eddie, why is now the best time to buy solar?
Thanks, Rowie. Government rebates will fall at the end of December. So if you act now, we can install your system in 2021 and you can save an additional $500 to $800 on a typical system, which is a considerable saving. The person who waits another year to decide to get solar will lose thousands of dollars.
Hey, thanks, Eddie. So go solar now and save. For more info, simply visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Make every drive an experience with the Nissan X-Trail, featuring Apple CarPlay. And get Nissan Connect included when you finance with Nissan Future Value. Nissan, experience X-Trail. Approved private and ABN applicants. T's and C's apply.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
17 to 7, Senior Constable Jen Cullinan from Sapol's on the line. Jen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, there's been a pursuit in the CBD.
There has, and that was just before 12:30 this morning. Police actually spotted a Holland sedan bearing stolen registration plates on Moss Avenue at Marsden. So the vehicle took off from police on Anzac Highway where they lost it, and patrols called in the police helicopter to assist with that search. So it was then again spotted on North Terrace where police have attempted to stop it and the driver refused to stop. The vehicle was pursued a short distance in the CBD before the driver abandoned the vehicle on Russell Street and ran off. So we searched the area with the assistance of Police Dog Judge, but unfortunately we haven't managed to locate the driver. So investigations are continuing, and we ask if anybody had any information about that to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Jen, also there's been a fire at Christie's Downs.
Yes, and that was again this morning at 1 a.m. Police and fire crews were called to Nadia Crescent after reports of a unit on fire. When they arrived, the unit was well alight and it was extinguished by the fire crews. It's caused significant damage to the unit and the neighbouring property, also sustained some smoke damage. So the unit was actually vacant at the time, and it's the second fire at that property, the first one being on Monday the 11th of October. So fire cause investigators have determined that it was deliberately lit, and the investigations are continuing. And again, we ask anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Thank you for that,
Thanks,
Jen.
Jen.
Senior Constable Jen Cullinan from SAPOL. Let's talk weather. Brett Gage, Senior Forecaster at the Weather Bureau. Well, I hope people didn't get used to the hot weather, Brett, because it doesn't look like we're going to have much of it this week.
No, bit on the mild side this week, Dave and Will. Currently in the city it's 12 degrees and only 7 at Mount Lofty. But we're heading for a top of 20 degrees with a partly cloudy day today. And on the waters, just south to southwesterlies below 10 knots. They'll turn west to southwest at 10 to 15 knots in the middle of the day, and then turn south to southeasterly during the evening. So with those light to moderate winds, seas are below a metre today. Back on the land, top of 22 expected for Tuesday, and just a slight chance of a shower, most likely in the evening. There's a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity we're going on up in the north and west of the state this week. And then, so this weather's sort of coming down from the north with a shower or two then on Wednesday with a top of 21. It says a shower or two on Thursday, but the totals are likely to be a bit higher. We could be on the southern edge of a fairly significant cloud band, so anywhere between 1 to 10 millimetres on the Thursday with a top of 18. Then a shower or two continuing on Friday, anywhere between 1 to 6 millimetres. This stage, top of 19. And then should ease back a little bit over the weekend, go round to a south to southwest airstream with a shower or two continuing on the weekend with just tops of 18 degrees.
Good on you, Brett. Thank you for that. Senior Forecaster Brett Gage from the Weather Bureau. 13 to 7. Horrifying scenes in Houston, Texas over the weekend at a concert called Astro World, where there were a bunch of people that got killed, young as 14 years of age, when a crowd surged. We'll take you through some of the audio, including some eyewitness accounts, and cross to the US right after this.
Do you hear that, Australia? That's the sound of positive energy, and we're making more of it, which means even lower emissions. From expanding the capacity of Snowy Hydro, it's going to become the Southern Hemisphere's largest battery, you know, to installing record levels of solar. Oh, listen to that sun. We're investing billions in clean tech today because we know it will define how we live tomorrow. Australia's making positive energy. Find out more at positiveenergy.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
At Audica, we know hearing. That's why our expert clinicians offer value for every ear. And for a limited time, Health Fund members can save 20% on a selected range of hearing aids, with up to $2,000 in savings. So if you're over 26, book your appointment today at audica.com.au. Offer ends 31st of January. T's and C's apply. See website for full details.
Home renovators have discovered the secret to updating the look and functionality of their homes. These things are great. Phantom screens.
That's right. Absolutely phenomenal design. Phantom screens, they're custom-made retractable door screens, and they can be colour-matched to your existing decor and span up to 7 metres wide. They disappear out of sight when not in use, so it's a screen that's there 1 minute and, hey presto, gone the next.
I like that. Phantom's door screens, they stop the flies and the mozzies. They don't stop your view or your ventilation. So if you want uninterrupted views and natural ventilation combined with protection from insects, then what you want is a Phantom screen.
That's right. It's exactly what you want. From the hills to the coast and everywhere in between, let the fresh air in with Phantom screens. Get inspired online at phantomscreens.com.au.
The all-new Kia Sportage medium SUV has been unleashed. Know the beauty of having a wild one with an all-new turbocharged engine. Bred to be fearless with a strikingly sculpted exterior, soft touch leather and suede interior, and a kingdom worth of Kia boot space. Unleash the beast, explore the beauty with the redesigned Kia Sportage. For more info, visit kia.com.au.
Kia, movement that inspires.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
Goodbye, my friend, it's hard to die.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Think of me and I'll be there.
10 to 7, this is going to be something of a musical transition. We're going to turn our attention to the Astro World Festival held in Houston over the weekend that was notable for the fact that 8 people were killed, many were injured after the crowd surged forward while organiser and rapper Travis Scott was on stage. People might not be familiar with Travis Scott. I wasn't familiar with him. This is his biggest song.
Was off the Remy.
I'm going to turn it down.
24-hour lockdown, we made no moves. Now it's 4 a.m. and I'm back up popping with the crew. I just landed in.
How much does that just sound like any other bit of hip-hop dirge? All those songs just sort of blend into one, don't they?
I wasn't familiar with it. He was on stage performing when he noticed that something at the front of the stage was going really wrong.
Somebody help, somebody passed out right here. You passed out, God. Somebody passed out right here. Hold on, don't touch him, don't touch him. Somebody just back up. Maybe somebody help jump in real quick. Keep going.
So what happened was the crowd surged towards the stage, and those at the front had nowhere to go. They had nowhere to go, and they couldn't get out. Basically, he could see someone in distress. It's tough to make out from that audio, but he's saying let an ambulance get through, basically, because he could see someone in difficulty. There were lots of people that were suffering when the crowd surged forward.
He didn't stop the show though.
He didn't. Well, I think his view was it was someone who had someone was having an asthma attack or something or other. There was someone there that couldn't breathe and who'd collapsed. Madeline Eskins was in the crowd and tells a very different story.
We had gotten to the stage that Travis Scott was performing about 6:30, so 3 hours before he was supposed to perform because we wanted a good spot. And as time went on, it just kept getting more crowded and more crowded and more crowded. But then he started a countdown about 30 minutes before he performed. He started a timer on the big screen, and all of a sudden, people just come pressed up against each other and were pushing forward and backward. And as the timer got closer to coming down to 0, it got worse and worse. And I looked at my boyfriend Sam and I told him, we have to get out of here, because I just felt, I was having constant pressure on my chest, constant pressure on my back. From the side, I was being squeezed. I tried to lift up my arms to make more room for myself. It wasn't working. So right when he started performing his first song, I looked at my boyfriend. I said, we have to get out of here. He said, I can't. We can't. We couldn't. And then I just remember looking up and passing out. And then I was in and out for a little while. I didn't see anything, but I could kind of feel what was going on. Someone pulled me over a fence, and I was sat in a chair. And then I passed out again, and when I woke up, I was in a different area in a chair with a water bottle in my lap.
Imagine the claustrophobia, the feeling of being so crushed in a crowd, you lose consciousness, and you're just moving at the whims of the people, the thousands upon thousands of people behind you. David Woiwad's in the US covering the story for 7 News. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Terrifying story, and there have been so many reports like that young woman's over the past, 36 hours. Awful stuff.
So what's the latest on it, David? I presume there's an investigation. What's been sort of pinpointed thus far as the cause of this crush?
Yeah, so police are still trying to piece together that timeline, why this happened and how this happened. So they're trying to pin down what caused that panic in the crowd. A lot of the chaos, though, and I don't know if you've seen the images earlier in the day, many hours earlier, they actually had hundreds and hundreds of unticketed people actually storm those gates, and they've kicked down some of those fences, and they've bashed their way through those metal detectors as well. So there was already a bit of chaos there, a few extra people inside the grounds there as well. When this show has started, Travis Scott has taken to the stage. Something has happened in the crowd, and people have begun surging towards that stage. Now, the rapper in question, he stopped a number of times as well during his performance. He saw some of those people in distress, particularly in the front row, like what that young woman was just describing then. These were people being pushed up against these barriers. They were trying to climb over it. Some people got over. They're pulling others over that fence. They were in a lot of pain, many of them. You could see it in their faces. Plenty of videos going around. He has stopped a number of times, but each time he has resumed the concert, and we've had those paramedics in the crowd. They were literally administering CPR while he was still performing as well. So, harrowing scene. Police now putting together that timeline. What has caused that panic? There are some claims there had been someone actually in the crowd injecting people with drugs, and they have their narcotics team on that as well to see if there is any veracity to those claims. A few more details as well about those 8 people that did die. They were all, sadly, under 30, and the youngest a 14-year-old boy. So plenty of big questions now for the organisers, but also for the performer.
Shocking story, so sad. And thank you for your coverage of it, David. David Woywood for 7 News in the US Bureau there.
Absolutely, yeah. So 5 minutes to 7. There's some good news for older Australians who don't mind a drink or two during the week. This is extraordinary research out of Monash University, covered in the Tizer this morning really well. The study found of 18,000 adults, 18,000, so big sample size, aged in their mid-70s, found that there's a sweet spot of 5 to 10 standard drinks consumed across the week that led these adults to have a significantly smaller chance of dying from any cause compared to teetotalers.
Really?
In that age group. So most
in your 70s.
In your 70s. Most of the research that's been done around, it's all very dramatic, death of any cause, all these adverse reactions is done in younger people. What is the impacts of younger people drinking? Not much work's been done. What happens in over 70s? Are they physiologically different? And if so, how different? And are there different results? Very different results. It
That's
can
amazing.
be beneficial. 5 to 6 standard drinks.
I think you said 5 to 10.
No. Sorry, 5 to 10. 5 to 10 standard drinks across the week. 5 to 10 across the week.
So that's like, you have a couple of beers before dinner, or you have 2 glasses of wine of an evening.
Yes.
1 or 2.
1 or 2. 1 or 2 gets you there. The head of the study is quoted, Professor Robin Woods, in the paper is saying, we're very confident to say moderate alcohol intake does not appear to do harm in older people regarding cardiovascular disease and for all-cause mortality. So across the spectrum, which is quite remarkable.
I reckon, too, that there would be a link between it being a social thing where you're sitting down with your partner or with a couple of friends and it just makes you happy. And there's a health benefit from being happy.
Well, I wonder if does the study adjust for that kind of social interaction? Would they tend to be people that had a wider social network? I wonder because that would appear to be relevant. Do I think most people listening? I wonder if it's relevant to the doctors and scientists who are looking at how it affects your insides.
Yeah, because
it would seem to be a really important point. Hey, speaking of communal enterprise and things we like to do and get together and do, like eat. Our man Ian Thorpe, the Torpedo, the goat. Unfortunately, not the goat of the kitchen. He's out of MasterChef.
Thorpe. The coulis was tasty, but the eastern flavours were muted. And unfortunately, the most crucial part of your dish, the meringue, went missing on the plate. And that's why I'm sorry you're going home.
Understood. I have mostly enjoyed my time in the MasterChef kitchen. I mostly enjoyed it up until this moment. But no, do you know what? I had a good day. I wasn't stressed. It was actually a happy day cooking. To get to know this group of people has been fantastic.
So he failed to, in his take on an Eastern mess. So it's an Eton mess.
Eton mess is mashed up meringue and stuff.
Yeah, meringue and, all sorts. A dessert. It was an Eastern version, a Heston Blumenthal challenge. So it doesn't have meringue or rosewater in it.
Not having meringue in an Eton mess is like not having meringue in a pavlova. It's pretty much all about the meringue.
Yeah, so I don't know what an Eastern mess actually is. You know what I think?
Well,
if it was
Eastern
a dessert,
spices.
If it was a dessert, and I reckon you and I will be in fierce agreement on this point, whenever I watch one of these shows, if someone can't cook a chicken breast, I go, yeah, well, they're not great.
No.
If they can't cook a dessert, it has no bearing on my view on how good a chef they are or a cook they are.
100%.
I don't care. I really don't care about desserts.
No, I reckon, I think it's just a wasted opportunity to eat something else, eating dessert.
Yes, I agree.
Rather have a crack at a cheese plate, thank you. Or have another entree.
I just never look at this and go, okay, so their souffle wasn't really, didn't lift up enough, or, I couldn't care. Doesn't worry me.
No.
But what was their main dish like? How were their entrees looking?
I think most chefs would feel like that too.
I think dessert should be a separate cooking show.
Yes, I agree.
Anyway.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
It's a great idea.
Good. 7 o'clock, 5AA news time, 8223 is our name. You can text us on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line. News headlines coming up in just a moment.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 20 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
A unit fire in the southern suburbs is being treated as arson. The alarm was raised on Nadia Crescent at Christie Downs around 1 a.m. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says the fire caused significant damage to the unit, while a neighbouring property sustained smoke damage.
The unit was actually vacant at the time, and it's the second fire at that property, the first one being on Monday the 11th of October. So fire cause investigators have determined that it was deliberately lit.
Police are searching for a driver following a brief pursuit in the CBD early this morning. Just before 12:30, a Holden sedan was spotted on Moss Avenue at Marston with stolen number plates. The car took off from patrols on Anzac Highway and the chopper was called in to help locate it. The vehicle was spotted again on North Terrace, but the driver refused to stop before dumping the car on Russell Street and running off. SA's hit a major COVID vaccination milestone. Just over a fortnight out from reopening the borders, the double vaccination rate has reached 70%. The next target for full inoculation is 80%. The number of South Australians who've had one dose is sitting at 83%. Epidemiologist Professor Adrian Esterman has told Seven we're on track to reach 80% the week we reopen.
We've seen it in all the other states and territories. The rate of vaccination is speeding up as we get more and more vaccine available. It might not be the 23rd, it might be the 24th, but around about that time we will definitely get there.
Fully vaccinated Australians who are allowed to travel internationally can now head to Singapore and back without needing to quarantine. Nine's Grace Fitzgibbon is at Sydney Airport this morning.
Feelings of both nervousness and excitement at Sydney International Airport as passengers arrive for their flight to Singapore. Fully vaccinated Australians now welcome to enter Singapore from today without having to quarantine. Travellers are required to take a COVID-19 test before they leave and on arrival, but are then free to do as they please. Plenty of smiles on the faces of passengers who have been separated from family since the start of the pandemic. It comes despite a rising number of COVID cases in Singapore, where 84% of the population is vaccinated.
Be prepared for some hip pocket pain. The price of lamb is going to stay high this Christmas. As Nine's Gabrielle Hodson reports, it's reached record prices in central Victoria.
Selling a single sheep for $500 is a big deal in farming, so when a pen of 1.5-year-old ewes sold for $516 each at Bendigo, it was a record. With 30,000 young sheep up for grabs, Friday's yarding was one of the biggest since the pandemic. The Federal Agriculture Department says the National Trade Lamb sale yard price is forecast to remain high at 791 cents a kilo. It follows a trend that began 10 years ago when lamb prices were typically under 400 cents a kilo. If you're after a more affordable Christmas dinner though, maybe try mutton. It's dropped to just 597 cents a kilo.
A new study shows drinking alcohol in moderation can reduce heart attack risk in older Australians. The Monash University-led research found those who had 5 to 10 standard drinks a week had a reduced risk of cardiovascular events. But experts are stressing that excess drinking is associated with a range of serious health issues. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
And we've got the Formula Ones on the track as we speak, Tom Wren.
And only a handful of laps remaining as well, Mel. It's an exciting Grand Prix. It's in Mexico and Max Verstappen is leading the way. Lewis Hamilton is currently in second spot, while Aussie Daniel Ricciardo is back in the second half of the field. To cricket now, and Australia will meet Pakistan in the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup after they easily took care of Scotland in their final group game by 72 runs to finish on top. New Zealand also won overnight, easily taking care of Afghanistan by 8 wickets, meaning the Black Caps will come up against England in the other semi-final. To soccer now, and West Ham has moved up to third spot on the English Premier League table after beating Liverpool 3-2 at home. Defender Kurt Zuma scored the decisive goal, rising tall to head home a corner in the 74th minute.
Uncomfortable for Alisson, who's backpedaling. Zuma! Now you've got to believe it. Kurt Zuma gone huge!
Yeah, they're flying. Commentary there thanks to Optus Sport. Elsewhere, Arsenal's rise up the table continued with a 1-0 victory against Watford, while Tottenham had a 0-0 draw against Everton in new manager Antonio Conte's first match in charge, while Leeds and Leicester also shared the points with a 1-1 draw. Briefly elsewhere, Novak Djokovic has taken out the Paris Masters, coming from a set down to beat Daniil Medvedev in 3 sets, and the Wallabies have lost their test match against Scotland 15-13 overnight. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Kenttown, water main works continue to Kettleville Terrace near Rundle Street. Speeds down to 40 k's. Myrtle Bank asphalt works are continuing crossroad between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions in place. And Crafers, speed restrictions on the freeway, both directions for works. Got cameras today. Adams Road, Craigmore. Robinson Road at Waterloo Corner. Invoicing but instantly, receipts but organised. Business is better with online accounting from Xero. Try free for 30 days. Search Xero, that's Xero. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hereford Recliners, handcrafted for your ultimate comfort. Call 1300 114 118.
Partly cloudy today, we're heading for a top of 20. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. Wednesday, 21 with a shower or 2. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Seven minutes after 7. Good morning to you and welcome to Monday. If you're just joining us as the sun beams over the hills into the studio here in the city. It's not going to be a warm day, but it's a pretty sort of a morning out there at the moment that you've got ahead of you, ahead of us, and by popular demand, we're going to be doing something in a moment that a few of our listeners may have heard on Saturday morning. KG and Cornsey did a terrific job paying tribute to the great Russell E. But there was a montage that was played at the start of this show that a lot of people really enjoyed. So what we thought we'd do is play it again as part of our 7:05 wrap in just a few moments' time. So we've got that coming up in just a moment. The other thing we're going to do, inspired by Elon Musk, we're going to try out a new segment. And you've got up for grabs a really terrific prize. Santa's Wonderland ticket. Santa's Wonderland.
I thought you were going to say we're going to send one lucky listener into space.
That's second prize. Celebrate the magic of Christmas at Santa's Wonderland, 3rd to the 24th of December at Adelaide Showground. Tickets from santaswonderland.com.au. Elon has taken to putting up his personal and business problems to Twitter and resolving them by way of a poll. This is extraordinary. So we want
his personal problems.
Well, you know, his business. He's got his business and tax-related quandary that he's. We'll explain all in just a moment.
Joe Hockey did that when he was trying to decide whether he was going to run for the Liberal Party leadership. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he got pilloried.
So what we want to do for you with the Santa's Wonderland tickets, 8223 if you've got a problem. We don't want to talk about the biggest issues in the world. Things like, you know, there's a number of how many people you can have to your Christmas lunch. You've got to work out who can come or who doesn't. Or
who shouldn't we invite?
Who shouldn't we invite? Or
hopefully that's going to be lifted by then.
Your bin's full. Do I put it in the neighbours or do I wait a week?
That's a great ethical quandary, that one.
If you've got an ethical quandary, that's a beautiful way of phrasing it.
Have you ever done it? Have you ever put rubbish in the neighbour's bin?
You better believe it, my friend.
Yeah, I've done it too.
let
done
us
it to
know.
me as
Let
well.
us know. 8223 0000, and we'll put it to our listeners, and then your problem will be solved by way of a poll. Okay. If it's good enough for Elon, it's good enough for us. Let's start with the block, though, for our wrap this morning at 7 o'clock. Block All-Stars Mitch and Mark, they won this season's auction, earning almost $650,000 profit on the sale of their house, plus an extra $100,000 in prize money for coming first, so $750,000. The figures last night were astronomical. They may as well have been auctioning off real estate on the moon.
It's crazy.
It was just extraordinary. It was a pretty remarkable episode. Ran well over. It rated the house down. It felt like all of Australia was watching it, and I think it ran into 60 minutes afterwards.
Yeah, it did. So 60 minutes didn't start till like 10:30 last
So 60
night.
minutes as ratings were the greatest 60 minutes has ever been. It's because the block was on. And here's how the finale played out.
I am so thrilled that we're all here together to celebrate 5 fantastic auction results. It certainly was a very emotional roller coaster. Today we gave away just over $2 million. And that brings our grand total over 17 seasons to just under $29 million that we have given away. Who said the block was no good? You're kidding. Absolutely outstanding. Big congratulations, of course, to our all-star winners, Mitch and Mark. Who are taking home $744,000.
So for those that didn't watch it, here are the prices. So Mitch and Mark's went for $4.044444 million. So let's just round them out to the nearest, $4.044 million. They made nearly $750,000 all up with the prize money included. Second place, Josh and Luke, sold for $3.93 million. They made $530,000. Third place, Tanya and Vito, sold for $3.8 million. Profit of $400,000. Fourth, Kirsty and Jesse, they sold for $4.401 million, made the profit of $301,000. And fifth, Ronnie and Georgia, $3.696 million, profit of $296,000. The profits these guys made are as much as a lot of houses are worth here.
The thing, they're actually, it was actually fascinating television. There was a big scandal because all of the contestants arced up and thought that the reserves had been set too high. And Scotty Cam admitted that maybe he thought they were a bit too high as well, because obviously the higher the reserve is, the less profit you're going to make. Yep. And this is why, like, Ronnie and Georgia, their house, you wouldn't sneeze at just shy of $300,000 in your skyrocket, but
No.
it's still, they were expected to win. Like, people, the smart money was on them. They ended up coming last. The contestants were all going to boycott it. They arced up at the start and said these reserves are all far too high. But I actually found the show kind of sad. And I watched it with my daughter, who's just turned 18, and I was talking to her. Like, when George, my first wife, when we got married, just before we got married, we bought a house in Torrensville for $122,500. Like, back then, a bit like that mad bugger last night at the auction who bought 3 of the houses, you could actually bid in $500 increments. And it's still, $500 was like, big chunk of cash in 1992. But I was saying to Soph, so if in 3 or 4 years she goes, after she's graduated from uni, she goes, well, I'm going to try to get into the property market. What's the lump sum she needs for? Is she buying a 3-bedroom house in Torrensville? I don't think so.
No chance.
And it shows that culturally we've become so obsessed with, our house is now worth this. But unless you sell it, it doesn't make any difference to you. The fact that your house has gone up in value by 300 or 400 or
Well, you've got
$800
some
grand,
unless you're retiring.
If you're retiring, that's great. But what about at the other end?
Yeah, well, the other end, it's not fair.
Where's she buying a house?
Its wages haven't kept pace, that's for sure.
No.
Elon Musk has a very different problem, one of the richest people on Earth, at various times the richest man on Earth. The Democrat Party in the United States have proposed a plan whereby billionaires could be taxed on unrealised gains. This is the little trick they use where they say, hang on, I'm making no money, I've got no cash coming in, but I've got a share price that means I'm now worth trillions of dollars, right? This is what they say.
What a problem to have.
Elon Musk, in fact, has tweeted out somewhere saying, I don't take a salary or a cash salary or bonus from anywhere, I only have stock. the only way I can pay tax under this rule would be to sell stock, he said. He still has a pretty nice house, so I guess he's got some cash coming in somehow. But what he did say, he said, I propose selling 10% of my Tesla stock. Should I do it? To his avid Twitter devotees. So he's decided he's going to put up 10% of his stock worth some $20 billion if he gets a positive result on Twitter, which right now is running 57 to 43 in favour of people saying, yes, sell your stock. Ludicrously, there's a lot of business analysts going, is this serious? This is how we do it. This is going to move the market. This is how we're doing things now. We're just tweeting them out. People think that is crazy. We think it's excellent. So what we're going to do with the Santa's Wonderland ticket this morning, if you've got some sort of ethical quandary or a life issue, big or small, it doesn't have to be $20 billion big. It could be just a matter of, you're wondering what you're going to do about some social event, or it could be, you don't know whether to tell someone something. It could be a minor household-related thing. Whatever it is, let us put it to our listeners in a poll. And for doing so, we'll give you a Santa's Wonderland pass.
Could be like, should we put in a pool?
Should we put in a pool? That could be it. Yes or no, our listeners will decide for you. If it's something you've had a bit of trouble with, you want a little bit of help, we'll do it, and we'll give you the Santa's Wonderland pass. 8223 0055. Get calling right now. Tell Andy and Lucy what your issue is that you want help solving, and the 5AA audience will solve it for you. It's as simple as that. Celebrate the magic of Christmas. Santa's Wonderland, 3rd to the 24th of December, Adelaide Showground. Tickets from santaswonderland.com.au. Now, 15 after 7. For those listened on Saturday morning, KG and Cornsey, you'll have heard this tremendous tribute to the great Russell Ebert. Lots of people who missed it have heard about it, so they wanted a chance to hear it, and we thought we'd play it for you here on 5AA Breakfast.
The first player ever to win 4 McGarry medals. Russell, you bloody beauty.
On the left foot. This looks mighty good from Russell Ebert. Yes, it's a goal.
Ebert has it. He has support from that. That was brilliant play by Ebert. Ebert has a look at the goals. Booms one off. A huge kick for Russell Ebert. And he whacks through another one.
Ebert on the ground. Oh, brilliant football, Russell Ebert. Bob, have you ever seen anything more casual or easy than that effort of Russell Ebert?
Only those when Barry Robran was at his heyday. I think that they compare as footballers, and they're two of the greatest players since the war in South Australia.
I think originally when he came down from the bush, he saw football as a game and it was good to play and all that, but after 2 or 3 years initiation, he sort of settled down and realised what football could mean to Russell Ebert.
Probably the biggest influence once again came from the family, and the father being a captain and coach of various countrysides probably influenced my career and just the general family involvement in sport and wanting to enjoy it, compete and hopefully win.
Ebert has to contest the boundary throw-in. Does it very well too. Look at the strength of Ebert. That's why he's won 3 McGarry medals. What a superhuman effort there from Russell Ebert, who salutes the crowd.
The thing I admire with any sportsman, it doesn't matter who it is the dedication, and Russell has that dedication and he has exceptional ability as well, so you combine the two together and you have a champion.
Playing for Port Adelaide, do you think Russell Ebert would have been a different player had he been at another club?
Oh yes, you'd have to say that, because anyone who's worn the black and white Guernsey appreciates that there is a difference, and when you get such a solid club, player-wise, administration-wise, tradition-wise, well then it's got to rub off. This is what all the other clubs strive for, is to get that little bit extra that we know, and it's probably hard to explain, but it is definitely there in the Guernsey and the club.
You don't have to be a Port Adelaide fan to appreciate Russell Ebert's character and his skill, but he is Mr. Football here. He was a great teammate on state trips and he's a great friend.
How do you rank him with the other great players in South Australia in the past 25 years?
Oh, he'd have to be right up to the front. It's hard to pick a player to surpass him, so Russell would certainly have to be right up the front.
Magnificently done to Mark Russell Ebert. A good, steady, solid game by the captain of Port Adelaide.
You very rarely get the opportunity to tell people whether they're 1, 2, 3, 4 years of age, or whether they're the grandma that's still knitting black and white and have added a bit of teal to their scarves and their rugs, to just say how absolutely privileged it's been to be able to run out onto the ground, give you some enjoyment, certainly get enjoyment from us, but just a sincere thank you for all the support you've given us over so many years, and look forward to it ongoing, onward and upward.
Taken us a bloody long time, but by Jesus, worth it.
Yeah, they're just fantastically put together. And again, congratulations to everyone on Saturday morning who did such a wonderful job. Some terrific calls as well and contributions from our 5AA listeners.
One nice text here on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line from Vince. If there are gods in the heavens above, move over, because there's another one heading your way. R.I.P. Russell. Beautifully put, Vince. Good on you.
Hey, we've been upbraided for our position on desserts by a excellent and well-regarded Adelaide chef, Chris Jarmer.
One of Adelaide's best chefs.
Yeah, Chris is just a terrific bloke. Jarmers, if you get in there and have a schnitzel, they're sensational. He said, to be a good head chef, my dad always told me I had to be a good dessert chef. But being a good dessert chef, you need a lot of patience. So much easier to whip up a quick, savoury dish. Thank you, Chris.
Good on you, Chris.
We'll take it. We'll listen to the expert on this one.
Jen has written in too, enthusiastic amateur. I care about desserts a lot, actually. I have a passion for chocolate. I have self-taught skills to create my own dessert recipes. I love it when something I created makes someone else smile, usually family, but that doesn't matter. No one else makes chocolate fairy floss or could even imagine what I've created in my kitchen. Good on you, Jen.
And our resident statsman, Ben Jordan, on Twitter has told us the Adelaide median house price by a decade, 1981, 40,000, 2001, 150,000, 2021, 590,000. It's the last 20 years.
590.
Yeah.
150 to 590.
Unbelievable.
In 20 years.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
Thanks, Will. At Kent Town, got water main works continuing Decatable Terrace near Rundle Street. Speeds reduced there. Myrtle Bank, asphalt works continuing there as well. That's on Cross Road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions in place. And we've got speed restrictions on the freeway both directions for works around Crafers and Stirling. Keep that in mind if you're heading in that way this morning. Cameras, Port Wakefield Road, Waterloo Corner, West Avenue, Edinburgh. Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next day's service at Glenelg BMW. Visit glenelgbmw.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Like grabbing an iced coffee from the servo or a Tony Modra hanger. From the pristine waters of the Pat to the lines of vines of the Southern Vales. Things that make our fine state. It's who we are. Local, iconic, proud. There is SASAA. Live, local, and always informing Adelaide. 5AA.
We reimagine the security of today. Innovative solutions that improve safety, create value, and accelerate business growth. For now and well into the future. Wilson Security. Innovating security for tomorrow.
Home isn't a place, it's a feeling, and the team at Lawn and Landscape Co., they know this feeling well. They love to help create the home of your dreams with a range of trusted products and sound advice from DIY to complete projects.
Lawn and Landscape Co. love to stock Australian products and lots of local products made right here in South Australia.
That's right, from lawn to paving, irrigation, Jaffa limestone, straight curve garden edging, that stuff's sensational, and more. Whatever your project is, Lawn and Landscape Co. can't wait to help.
Turn your place from dirt to dreams with Lawn and Landscape Co. 6 Wilton Avenue, Somerton Park. Give them a call, 8296 4356, 8296 4356, or check them out online, lawnlandscapeco.com.au. That's lawnlandscapeco.com.au.
If you're a Walco kind of family, you're like us. You love your pool. The first thing you did when you got her was get her a solar blankie, her own Walco solar blanket. Now, it's been a few years. Pool still loves her blankie because it stops her evaporating and you save dollars. But now, well, you need a bit more convenience. So get a Walco roller. It's quicker and easier to tuck pool in. And because it's made right here, it'll be delivered immediately. Walco.com.au.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Careers. Don't send it, ace it.
The time is now. 88 O'Connell brings new life to this landmark location. An opportunity to tell a new and unique story. A connected community with arts, culture, sport and entertainment on your doorstep. 2, 3 or 4 bedroom apartments with unparalleled views to the city, hills, coast and beyond. The long-awaited display suite is now open, showcasing the incredible lifestyle on offer at 88 O'Connell. More than an address, 88 O'Connell, North Adelaide.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 minutes after 7. If you've got a problem, no matter how big or small or inane, it could win you a Christmas at Santa's Wonderland from the 3rd to the 24th of December at the Adelaide Showground. You can get tickets santaswonderland.com.au. This is always great. The people go berserk for Santa's Wonderland.
Oh, it's huge.
You can
it
take
gets bigger and bigger each year.
This is for the whole family. You can
That's a good saving.
This is not just you. This is the whole family gets to go along. It's great. And in the process, you can get a problem solved.
Could be a Christmas-related quandary.
Could be.
Yeah.
It could be. You don't know
just a bit of menu advice.
What to serve.
Yeah.
Day or night. If you can put it to a poll like Elon Musk did about selling $20 billion worth of his shares, we can do it on 5AA Breakfast. We'll do it in a moment. First caller through with a quandary or a problem or an issue, 8223 0000. Give us a call, chat with Andy and Lucy, and we'll get it sorted for you with the help of our excellent listeners. Let's turn our attention to sport because Stephen Rowe is on the line thanks to North Point Toyota. Secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30. Morning to you, Rowie.
David and Will, good morning, and once again, condolences to Russell Ebert's family, his friends, ex-teammates, and the Sample and Port footy community. He was a diamond, no question. He was a treasure on and off the field. He dedicated his life to enriching others, which is what we loved. He certainly did with me, and I think his admiration will extend far beyond football. We've heard all the tributes. He'll be missed. He's left a legacy. God bless to him. He's just a ripper, isn't he?
He certainly is, Rowie. And we were saying there's so many reasons so many people are emotional, but I thought Will made the excellent point that to become so loved playing for a club that divides South Australians so much. I mean, historically, within the SANFL, every other club has had a combination of fear and disdain for Port Adelaide. And for a guy like Russell to be as loved as he was, playing in the midst of such enmity is extraordinary testament to his character. And I think, too, it shows that the rivalries that we talk about are actually superficial nonsense. That deep down, you know, people who've got their brains wired the right way go, nah, it's a game, and he played it better than almost anyone in the history of this state.
Yeah, no, well said. And being a Norwood man, born and bred, I know that only too well. I got to work with him, meet with him. He invited me to his house to play tennis just the once. I wasn't good enough, not invited back, but he was a diamond. The Port Adelaide Footy Club, the family and the state will decide on Russell's memorial. We'll expect those details in the coming days. I think you got Koshy on a bit later. He might have some for you after 8:30. Just lastly, our T20 World Cup starting to crank up, isn't it? We smoked West Indies into the semi-finals v Pakistan early Friday morning. They're due to implode, Pakistan. That'll be the only way that we'll beat them. I'd love to have another crack at the Poms. They got New Zealand, the winner, into the T20 Grand Final. We'll talk about all of that, including this. The AFL has cancelled standard skin fold testing for draft prospects on the back of body image health concerns. Oh boy, wow, we wish they had that back in the 80s.
You're kidding me.
It might be. It might be the stupidest policy I've ever heard.
Ever.
And we as a program spend our entire time talking about stupid policies. It's breathtakingly moronic to suggest that in a field of athletic endeavour, what you don't ever want to do is assess people's athletic capacity.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go back to the Fraser Gehrig era, are we? The Wilbur Wilson era, the Jumbo Prince era, where you can have a bit of a spare tyre. And like sport, by its very definition, assesses people on the basis of their physical attributes. It's a huge part of it.
That's the whole point.
Hey, 2 words, plug a locket.
Yeah, exactly. Good on you, Rowie. Secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30 at North Point Toyota.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. At Lynn Andrews Real Estate, we've seen a lot of change in the property market over the last 50 years, but one thing remains constant: our passion to help people invest in the future. to build strong property portfolios in commercial and residential real estate. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share with you. We are here to help. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
Let's talk about extra time. Extra time because I don't have to maintain a garden. Extra time because I don't have costly home repairs. Every ECH Encore apartment at Mulberry comes with time. Time to enjoy retirement. Time to enjoy the on-site cafe, gym and community garden. So spend time in our new on-site display suite. Book an appointment today. Time for an encore? Time to live more life. Visit echencore.com.au.
After 26 years of winemaking, the Pipichella family is closing the book on their time in Ulebri.
That's right. What began as just 6 hectares of Shiraz has grown to beyond 50 hectares with 10 different varieties. But the good news is you can still enjoy a good drop.
Visit the Ulebri Wine cellar door or purchase online from now until the 30th of November to take advantage of amazing by-the-dozen offers like you can get it on the Shiraz, Grenache, Merlot, Sangiovese, the Petit Verdot, starting at $100 a dozen, and late harvest dessert Semillon from just $30. These could be great Christmas ideas.
They certainly could. Jump on the website and check it out. And to all the Ulebri fans, past and present, here's a chance to stock up for the festive season with some of your favourites.
Visit the Ulebri Wine cellar door in Ulebri, not far from One Tree Hill, or purchase online at ulebri.com before November 30.
When you die, who gets what? Will your kids or relatives argue over your estate? Will your beneficiaries be protected? Will your estate be tax effective? Will your wishes be respected and carried out? Speak with Donlan Lawyers now for peace of mind. Donlan Lawyers for wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 20 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
A unit fire at Christie Downs is being treated as suspicious. Around 1 this morning, emergency crews responded to reports of a fire on Nadia Crescent. The blaze was quickly extinguished by MFS crews, but did cause significant damage to the vacant unit, while a neighbouring property sustained smoke damage. It's the second fire at the property in a month after a previous blaze was reported on October 11. A driver is on the run following a brief pursuit in the CBD early this morning. Just before 12:30, a Holden sedan was spotted on Moss Avenue at Marston with stolen plates. The car took off from patrols on Anzac Highway, and Senior Constable Jen Cullinan has told David and Will the police helicopter was then called in to help locate it.
It was then again spotted on North Terrace, where police have attempted to stop it and the driver refused to stop. The vehicle was pursued a short distance in the CBD before the driver abandoned the vehicle on Russell Street and ran off.
The double COVID vaccination rate has reached 70% in SA. We hit the milestone over the weekend. It comes just over 2 weeks out from the state reopening on November 23. 83% of South Australians have had one dose. The federal government has confirmed the economy will be front and centre of its re-election campaign. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg says new data shows Australia has been able to successfully ride out the pandemic. Latest lockdowns have not resulted in more business closures and new businesses have opened up. Mr Frydenberg says the economy is doing much better than expected.
And with insolvencies down by 40% year on year, job ads up 30%. Since the start of the pandemic, consumer confidence rising and restrictions easing in New South Wales and Victoria, I'm pretty optimistic and upbeat.
Moderate alcohol consumption could help the hearts of older Australians. Nine's Oliver Haig explains.
The landmark study involved 18,000 healthy Australians in their mid-70s and was undertaken by Monash University in Melbourne. What it found was a beer or wine a day may in fact be good for the heart. The evidence suggested between 5 and 10 standard drinks a week led to older adults having a much smaller chance of dying from any cause. It also showed a much lower risk of cardiovascular disease. Researchers said while the severe health effects of excessive alcohol consumption are well known, they saw real benefits of older Australians drinking in moderation.
The Adelaide Cabaret Festival will be back in June 2022 with the first 4 shows revealed today. The festival's Alex Sinclair says the first event will be in March.
The biggest and most exciting thing to talk about is the Variety Gala launch. Rather than opening the festival, which we have traditionally done, we're going to launch our program on the 25th of March, and it's just going to give audiences a great opportunity to witness firsthand what the program's going to look like come June.
It will be hosted by the festival's artistic director Tina Arena and Paul McDermott. An ancient Egyptian artefact with links to Tutankhamun has found a new home down under. The figure is now on permanent display at the University of Sydney. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Rehn.
Thank you, Mel. The Mexican Grand Prix has just concluded with Max Verstappen extending his lead at the top of the championship after winning ahead of fierce rival Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton did come in second place while Sergio Perez was third. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo came back in 12th place. Let's go to cricket, and Pakistan will meet Australia in the World Cup T20 semi-finals after recording a 72-run win against Scotland. That result means Pakistan is the only side yet to lose a match for the tournament. To tennis, Novak Djokovic has capped off a record-breaking week by defeating Daniil Medvedev to lift the Paris Masters trophy. He'll finish the year as world number 1 for a record 7th time and has recorded a 37th Masters 1000 title. Djokovic says his achievements still haven't sunk in.
Of course, it means the world to me to be in this position, because that's obviously one of the biggest motivations of why I still play professional tennis.
The Wallabies' winning streak has come to an end, defeated by Scotland 15-13 in a nail-biter overnight. Captain Michael Hooper says they let themselves down with some poor discipline throughout the match.
Coming down to the wire, it's always tough. We had a couple of chances there. We're leading with 10 to go or so. So, we had a sniff of it, but, Scotland did really well to grind that one out.
Audio thanks to Stan Sport. And in the English Premier League, West Ham's dream start of the season has continued after a 3-2 win against Liverpool. Elsewhere, Arsenal beat Watford 1-0, while Leeds and Leicester drew 1-1. Everton and Tottenham playing out a 0-0 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
At Kenttown, got water main works on to Kettlebell Terrace near Rundle Street. Speeds reduced there. Myrtle Bank, asphalt works continuing crossroad between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions in place. And Crafers and Stirling, speed restrictions on the freeway, both directions for works. Cameras today, Adams Road, Craigmore, north-south motorway at Bolivar. Want more time to run your business? Fill up using your Shell card. It automatically records and itemises your purchase. Make Shell card part of your growing business today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hereford Recliners, handcrafted for your ultimate comfort. Call 1300 114 118.
20 today, partly cloudy tomorrow 22, then Wednesday a shower or 2 and 21. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
G'day, it's Rowie with Eddie May from NRG Solar. Now, Eddie, why is now the best time to buy solar?
Thanks, Rowie. Government rebates will fall at the end of December. So if you act now, we can install your system in 2021 and you can save an additional $500 to $800 on a typical system, which is a considerable saving. The person who waits another year to decide to get solar will lose thousands of dollars.
Hey, thanks, Eddie. So go solar now and save. For more info, simply visit nrgsolar.com.au.
The Nissan Navara SL Dual Cab 4x4 is in stock right now. Get yours and choose a selected bonus accessories pack worth up to $1,500. Test drive today at your Nissan dealer. T's and C's apply.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 8. We mentioned in our 7 o'clock wrap of some of the stories that have developed over the course of the last 24 hours that Elon Musk put to a Twitter poll, the kind of thing that hasn't historically been put to a poll of one's Twitter followers. He's a bit upset about a proposed billionaire tax that the Democrats are putting to the Senate in the United States that would mean he'd have to pay tax on increases in share price, not just how much cash he gets in. He said to pay for that, he would theoretically have to sell 10% of his stake in Tesla.
Nice problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, it means he has to pay $20 billion in tax, and if you have to do that, you're doing okay on the other end.
He has to pay $20 billion.
Yeah, it'd be something like
$20 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine how hard it would be to fill in your tax return.
It's a lot of zeros.
I'm flat out doing my bass every 3 months.
Is there enough space? I'm sure he's got someone who does that for him.
He'd need more than the double-sided red form
but in the end,
deal with all of that.
He jumped on Twitter. He jumped on Twitter and said to all his followers, should I sell 10% of my stock? Yes or no? I will abide by whatever you say. And currently, people are voting 57-43 in favour of him selling his stock. Polls are a great way to solve problems, and we've got obviously a large audience of listeners here on 5AA Breakfast with a heap of accumulated knowledge to solve all manner of things. Nathan's called in, and in doing so has won himself a Santa's Wonderland Family Pass that's on from the 3rd to the 24th of December. Nathan, good morning to you, mate. What's your problem?
Good morning, boys. And well, firstly, thank you for creating this forum to allow me to sort of move forward in my life. It's it's a very important quandary that I've had, and
excellent.
Might not have as many, as good an outcome or as important as Elon's, but it'll allow me to move forward. So I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
My quandary is when I'm walking my dogs in the morning and they do their business, and I clean it up nice and use the proper bag and all that kind of thing. Particularly if it's bin day, am I allowed to put that bag in somebody else's bin?
Oh, now that is a great moral dilemma.
That's
Nathan.
Fantastic.
It's really worrying me.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I love the listeners.
Can we just ask one question, Nathan, I think is relevant? And listeners, you can vote now on 8223 0000. Okay to put the doggy do in a stranger's bin or not, yes or no. Or you can text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. My question would be, you say it's bin day. Have the bins been collected?
Well, I don't think it matters, because if you do the bag right, it's dry, it's sealed. You can wait for the next week, surely.
All right, well, Nathan, we'll put you on hold, and we'll get back to you. You've got the Santa's Wonderland Family Pass coming your way. It's an excellent ethical quandary.
I think your follow-up question was hugely important, Will. Do you want somebody else's dog poop in your bin for 7 days? I think a lot of people who don't own dogs would go, what? You know, I was at Aldinga a couple of years back, and there's this guy walking his German Shepherd, and the dog walked over to. We were down there in the van. He walked over on a leash, and the guy had a really long rope for this German Shepherd, and the dog urinated all over the side of my car, just cocked his leg and just weed all over the side of the car. And I looked at the bloke and I went, mate, hey, what's going on here? I mean, I know it's not a very good car. But I just thought, because the guy quite deliberately let the dog do it, as if, well, the dog needs to go. And I just thought that's taking dog ownership to a...
I don't think we need to put that one to a poll.
No.
I think that's universally a no-no, except for that one guy. 8223 0000. You've heard the quandary that Nathan's got. Let us know whether you think...
Judy's fired up.
Well, let's not reveal the poll data yet.
No.
We'll give people we'll give it an opportunity to accumulate. 8223 0000 or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. You can tweet us at 5AA Breakfast, or if you're on the live stream, YouTube or Facebook, leave us your vote there, yes or no. And this could be a life-changing moment for Nathan. He might have to change behaviour, or he might have to change nothing. While we wait for the data to stream in, let's talk. Let's talk snakes, because it is that time of the year where it's starting to warm up, albeit not this week. It started feeling like it last week, but they might be becoming a problem in your neck of the woods. Rolly Burrell is from Snake Catchers Adelaide, who we love talking to each and every year. Rolly, good morning to you.
G'day, Rolly. G'day, Rolly. I'm going well, aren't
That's
I?
you, Rolly.
You're allowed to say hello to yourself, Rolly.
Big good morning to both of you.
Sorry about that.
You're all right, mate.
Well, mate, you've probably been busy because they're out and about, aren't they?
Well, I've been thrashed, I have. I'm getting too old and I've been thrashed.
How long have you been doing it for?
Probably about nearly 50 years now.
Wow.
How many times have you been bitten, mate?
Oh, I've lost count. You know, it's not very professional to get bit, but at the same time, in some of the areas and situations we get ourselves into, and people are standing there and paying for the service, you just sometimes do things that you shouldn't do, and you get bit.
What's the most venomous snake that's ever had a go at you?
Probably the inland taipan, which is in the middle of Australia, like Birdsville.
And how do you deal with it when you get bitten? Do you just straight away put the tourniquet on, or?
Well, yeah, the first aid, the bandage is the most important bit. The bandage can keep you alive for a couple of days.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Wow.
The indigenous people years ago, when they actually got bit by a snake, they actually dug a hole and used to get in the hole, and they used to fill up the hole, and his head would just be sticking out there, just so that he didn't move. And
Really?
sometimes they got away with it and survived.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Hey, Rolly, what's the Adelaide snake hotspot? Where do you expect to get most of your call-outs?
Look, they're everywhere today. If people bring down pea straw, bring down firewood, they move from place to place. So birds drop them off, and then we've got the stormwater system, all through the hills that goes down to the pat. So they can pop out anywhere these days.
Do you see many in the suburbs, like close into the CBD, Rolly?
Well, I had one on Jetty Road maybe last year, and someone brought that down when he went fishing, and he opened the door, and of course the red belly went to shoot out the door too, and he actually jammed the snake in the door, and that was the door side on the footpath, so it was having a go at people as they walked past.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so the police actually closed off that specific area, and we went in there and got him.
They cornered it off, did they? Like it was a crime scene.
Yeah, they did. I felt really important for the day.
Hey, Rolly, years ago when I worked at McMahon's Fruit and Veg at the Central Market, I heard this blood-curdling scream. One of the blokes opened a banana box that had come down from far north Queensland and had a green tree python in it.
Oh, yes, yeah. No, look, that's common too sometimes. So, look, there's snakes everywhere today.
Hey, so Rolly, if someone has a snake on their premises or in their car or the glove box or wherever it might well end up, how do they get in contact with you?
Oh, just give us a call, 0413 511 440.
Well, hopefully you don't get bit too much this season, mate. Good to chat with you.
No, yeah, you take care. I'll just find out who I am in this morning.
That's all right. We were a little bit worried maybe the venom was starting to take effect.
The inland taipan.
Yeah, good man. Good on you, Rolly. Rolly Burrell from Snake Catchers Adelaide. He's always good fun to have a chat with.
Oh, yeah. He's the
no one would
bloke.
have better stories around the dinner table than Rolly Burrell.
He's really doing his own TV show. The Yanks would go mad for it. Aussie Snake Catchers.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There'd be a market for that.
He'd probably be a multi-squillionaire if he moved over into the US.
Yeah, for sure.
15 to 8, there are many votes coming in for Nathan's bin bag quandary. I'm trying to tidy it up so we don't have to refer to the dog do part of it, but it is kind of central. He's won himself a Santa's Wonderland pass, santaswonderland.com.au, for putting an ethical quandary to our listeners, which is essentially that you, in good conscience, get your dog do and put it in someone's bin if everyone's bins are out on the street because it's bin collection day.
Nathan's struggling.
Well,
the early trend is struggling.
Okay, well
I'll say.
We'll reveal the results in just a moment. Time to check traffic. Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
Thanks, Will. At Torrens Park, slow going this morning. Belair Road near Blythewood Road for works. Myrtle Bank, asphalt works continuing there. That's on Cross Road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions in place. And Crafers, slow going with speed restrictions on the freeway, both directions for works. Look out for cameras, Anglevale Road, Evanston Gardens, and Fairfield Road at Elizabeth Grove. What's for lunch? How about a burrito or bowl from Guzmani Gomez for just $9.90. Pulled pork, grilled chicken, slow cooked beef and more, just $9.90 on the GYG app. Download the app and order today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, Susanna Toop here. Tenants, you're going to love this. Toop and Toop now gives you early access to rental properties. Hear about properties up to 2 months in advance and before they become publicly available, with email alerts direct to your inbox. No more rushing around to find something in just 2 weeks. With Toop and Toop, you can now find your next home sooner. So if you're struggling to find a rental property or you want to plan early, simply register now at toop.com.au/rent.
Home renovations can be akin to climbing Everest. Every step of the way can be torturous to reach your ultimate goal. Well, the same could be said for home renovations, but not if you go with Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. The team at Urban have always believed the journey is just as important as the destination. So start your journey with Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
With all warm weather, you might be daydreaming about upgrading your outdoors. A new pergola or veranda is only as good as the people who've built it.
I tell you what, I've been dealing with the people at My Living Outdoors, the excellent boss, Michael DeCellis and his team. They are absolutely sensational folks to deal with. We're getting a new veranda done at our joint, and part of it, I think, stems from their philosophy, because the people at My Living Outdoors, they believe that happy tradespeople build great pergolas and verandas, which is why they treat their tradies with the utmost respect. And it's probably why some of Adelaide's top tradies love working with them.
I knew you were going to say that. It's a good point. Of course, happy customers are just as important as well, and My Living Outdoors have plenty of those. Log on to their website and just check out the reviews for yourself.
And look, they take care of everything. I haven't had to actually lift a finger yet. From design and council approval, which has come through, to construction, the team at My Living Outdoors, they promise you the best experience throughout the whole process.
Visit mylivingoutdoors.com.au. Take advantage of their pre-summer sale for November only. Get up to 20% off blinds and roller shutters and up to 15% off any carport, decking or veranda project. This offer, it ends November 30.
When it comes to finding the best workmate for your business, Toyota Forklifts take the crown. And right now it's our ultimate year-end event. Buy any new Toyota material handling forklift, including pallet jacks, stackers, or market-leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts, and you could win one of 2 new Toyota Hilux workmates. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au and become workmates with the world's #1 forklift brand. T's and C's apply. SA licence number T21/1273.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 to 8. I'm really excited about this. I think the 5AA Breakfast ethical quandary is here to stay.
Oh, it's a good thing.
This is a good one. So Nathan called us earlier with a question for our listeners. We put it to the listeners. It's just unvetted. It's what people honestly think about his problem, which is about what to do with his dog's do when he's walking along and he collects it and bags it up neatly and puts it in people's bins. Because it's bin day. If it's bin day, are people's bins fair game? Is Nathan's ethical quandary. What do the texts say, David?
Well, I'll tell you what, Nathan, if you're listening, and I know you're on the line there, do not put it in Ian's bin, because Ian says, I hose my empty bin out each week. So if I had some dog turd in the empty bin, I would ram it back where it came from. That's the most belligerent of the texts that we've got. Few hard no's, Tanya in Wattle Park, an absolute no from me. Dave from South Brighton, a bit more philosophical. A half-full bin out the front is open slather for all neighbours, so long as it's wrapped properly and doesn't make the bin stink. After it's been emptied, I've told my neighbours to feel free to top my bin up if they're struggling. Dougie in Wollonga says, I don't have a problem with Nate's bag issues as long as it's my neighbours. Then Roger says if it's bin day, it would be bin day for Nathan as well, so maybe he could take it home and put it in his own bin. Janine just firing up too. Very disrespectful. No dog poop in others' bins. A neighbour had a habit of putting her dogs in our bin. Why? Because she didn't want to put it in her own bin.
Yeah.
It would smell her bin up. Well, she got caught and haven't seen her putting in our bin since. We were saying off air, this is actually a question to a large degree about dog ownership, because a lot of people don't own dogs because they don't want to clean up their mess. So the idea
that they're burdened with the mess.
So the idea that one of those people is going to end up with a free gift in the old Sulo bin, well, fills them with distaste.
Nathan, you've heard some of that. He's on the line now. Nathan, good morning again to you, mate. And thank you for being in our inaugural 5AA Breakfast Ethical Quandary.
Welcome.
Here are the official results. 68 to 32% say that it is wrong to put the do in people's bins. So I don't know what you do with that information, Nathan. I don't know. Has it changed your position?
Crap comment.
Hey, Nathan, thanks for playing, mate.
You're welcome. I appreciate the people calling in and texting in. You've helped me. I know what not to do.
I mean, I think you're clearly trying to do the right thing,
Yes.
particularly if you've got the perfumed bags, like the kids' nappy bags.
Oh, yeah, they're good. Yeah.
I think Nathan, by virtue of calling in, acknowledged it was an ethical quandary.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
I mean, you know.
And this is it.
Well
you
done,
got
Nathan.
to serve yourself up to the full-blown, unadorned scrutiny of our listeners.
Exactly
They'll
right.
let it rip. That's what we do on this show.
I'm already looking forward to the next ethical
Not a show
quandary.
for the faint-hearted.
Exactly right.
So well done, Nathan.
Good stuff, Nathan. You've got that Santa's Wonderland family pass coming your way. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News joins us as we look ahead for the week's weather. Amelia, good morning to you.
Good morning. That's not how I was expecting that poll to go, actually.
So you're you do
No, I'm
drive-bys too, do you,
not.
Amelia?
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm very strict on the dog rules. The
Okay.
dog food rules. But I bet you that 68% to their knowledge, not to their knowledge, has had dog poo in their bin. I bet you.
Oh,
Someone's put it in there.
And they wouldn't
Totally.
have even realised, you're saying?
No, absolutely not.
Hmm.
You just don't know, do you? It's your bin. Although I'd love Ian to come clean out my bin. That's very impressive.
Yeah, I
Once
was
a
thinking
week.
that. Get Ian round to our place, find all sorts of nastiness in there. Hey,
Well, it'd be a good day to dry out your bins today. In fact, the best day of the week. How's that for a segue? Today's
Beautiful.
probably the driest. Get your washing on the line as well because, we've got a chance of showers pretty much, other than tomorrow, pretty much every day for the week ahead. So a bit of cloud around at times today, 20 degrees the forecast top. And then a little warmer tomorrow, 22, but we could maybe see a shower at night. So if you are taking advantage of that washing on the line situation, bring it in tomorrow. We've got a better chance of a shower on Wednesday, about 50% chance, 21 degrees atop, and then the temperature's set to drop. 18 degrees on Thursday, cloudy with showers around, and they're likely late in the day. We could see anywhere up to 10 millimetres worth, and that's kind of how it's looking as we just head into the weekend as well. A shower or two or showers on the forecast every day with temperatures in the mid-teens. It's quite an interesting setup that we've got for the week ahead. It kind of looks like as much as sort of 90% of the country will be looking at rain and even storms this week. For SA, well, the bulk of the action's over our northern and sort of western districts. But we've just got a few sort of climate drivers at play. And I've spoken about them on the show with you guys before. They're the funny names that I like to talk about. La Nina, a negative Indian Ocean dipole. And, we're just sort of seeing the westerly winds that sort of move weather from west to east sort of just pick up a bit as well this week. So we've got a perfect storm for a fair bit of rain across the country. But for Adelaide, it looks like we could see maybe a couple of millimetres each day, with Thursday looking like the wettest day, guys.
Good stuff, Amelia.
Beautiful.
Thank you for that, Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News.
What's a Walco family look like? Well, it looks like us. Mum, Dad, kid or two, and Paul. Paul loves her Walco solar blanket. Paul loves her Walco roller. And we all love Walco. Walco is the only pool blankie and roller manufacturer in Adelaide. They're also the only guys that make their materials here. Nothing imported. Walco, making a real splash in SA. Walco.com.au.
SportsMed Foot and Ankle Clinic is growing, with orthopaedic surgeon Dr. Tom Fisher joining our Stepney Healthcare Hub. Here's Dr. Claire Bolton.
SportsMed isn't like other clinics. We have our own hospital with specialists, doctors, physios and podiatrists together in one state-of-the-art location. This makes life easier for our patients because their appointments can happen in one place. It also lets us diagnose issues quickly, leading to high-quality, cost-effective care.
All your treatments, all your care, one place. SportsMed. Visit sportsmed.com.au.
World Kindness Day is coming up this Saturday. Simple acts of kindness have a lasting impact in the lives of both the giver, the receiver, and our local communities, like checking in on a neighbour who may be doing it tough.
Or it could be something as simple as just paying forward a coffee at your local cafe.
Community Living Australia is all about kindness and helping people with disability be active members in their community. It's in their DNA. They support children and adults with disability to build skills, be part of their community, and live the life they want through a range of services and support tailored to each person's needs.
Community Living Australia's team and and people they support will be hitting the streets with acts of kindness all this week across the state. Today, their random acts of kindness include handing out free coffees at Brother Bear Whole Food Cafe in Mount Barker on Gawler Street from 9 to 10 a.m. Big thanks to Brother Bear Whole Food Cafe for generously supplying the coffees.
Community Living Australia positively impacting the lives of people with a disability and right behind World Kindness Day.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
2 to 8, let's talk real estate. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop is on the line. Susanna, good morning to you. I wanted to ask you about the rental market at the moment. You're still seeing big demand on that front?
Look, we are. It's really interesting what we've seen over the last few months between July and October. Toop and Toop, across our rental properties, we've seen 1,120 tenants apply for our rental properties. And when we looked at some of the numbers coming up, this is up 12% from the same time last year and up an incredible 74% from pre-COVID times. So in terms of people not just coming through open homes, but formally applying for rental properties, just within Toop and Toop, we've seen that 74% increase from sort of your July to October from 2019 times to now. It just really has been a huge surge of activity, and it's still continuing as we head towards the end of the year. But I think the big question is a lot of people wondering where is it all coming from, and I think a lot of the demand is from returning South Australians and sellers as well, looking for somewhere to rent until they find their next place to buy. But what we're also seeing is some very motivated parents who are looking to find a property for their kids to move into. I think, 18 months to 2 years of lockdown, there's some parents that are sort of saying to their adult children, I think it's time to sort of move out and find your own place. So I think that there's a lot of first-time renters as well that are being tipped into the market at the moment.
I think there were thousands of people listening to that, Susanna, that started nodding their heads. Thank you. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop Real Estate with our weekend real estate wrap. It's time for John Blake. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
Children's Book Time with Lester and Stephen.
Hello, girls and boys. Hello. My name is Stephen.
And my name is Lester, isn't it, Stephen?
Yes, it is, Lester. And today we have another fabulous book for you to read.
Oh, great.
It's another volume of thought-provoking newspaper headlines.
Oh, that's always interesting.
Yes, and it's filled with fabulous headlines like this one. The war on drugs declared over.
Oh, great.
The drugs won.
Oh, dear me.
Yes, unexpected outcome. Here's another one. The other members of U2 perfectly okay with people starving.
Oh, he's all by himself then.
Yes, it seems so. Or this one. Study reveals babies are stupid.
Oh, yes, well, that's an obvious one. Not many babies with a doctorate.
No, that's right.
Well, I've got a couple here, Stephen.
Oh, good.
Beef humanely raised in open pastures before being slaughtered.
Oh, you see, some people really do care, Lester.
Yes, that's right. Or this one. Halloween declared success after increase in children's night terrors.
Oh, we love Halloween.
Yes, we do. Good, clean, harmless blood sport.
That's right.
And finally, world medical researchers admit they just don't like mice.
Oh, yes. Well, it wouldn't be very nice experimenting on something you thought was cute, would it?
No, of course not.
Oh, looks like that's all we've got time for today, Lester.
Yes, but we'll be back next time with another book for you to read.
Yes, like this one. It's called How to Live Without iPhones, the Internet, Computers, High-Speed Travel, Vaccine, and all the other incredible technology invented by those irresponsible bastards who've ruined the world, by Greta Thunberg.
Oh, she's great, isn't she?
She certainly is, Lester. And until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.
5AA News Time, stick around. David Kosh coming up and Tina Arena very shortly.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 20 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact premierpanel.com.au. RAA approved crash repairer.
70% of eligible South Australians have now rolled up their sleeves twice to get a COVID vaccine. SA hit the double vaxxed milestone on the weekend, but Dr Chris Moy from the AMA says more people need to be jabbed by November 23 when the state reopens.
Well, it's nice, but it's not enough. We've really got to get up into the 80 and 90%. So really, COVID is coming. It is coming.
Meantime, SA Health says it's unlikely a 21-year-old woman who stayed overnight in SA 2 weeks ago before testing positive for COVID in the Northern Territory was infectious in Adelaide. An investigation into her movements is underway. For the second time in a month, fire crews have been called to a Christie Downs unit. Around 1 this morning, they responded to reports of a fire on Nadia Crescent, the very same address they'd attended on October 11. The blaze was quickly extinguished, but the fire caused significant damage to the vacant unit and a neighbouring property sustained smoke damage. It's being treated as arson. An arson attack has completely destroyed a car at Shido Park. Just before 2 this morning, police and fire crews were called to Spinnaker Circuit, where a Holden ute was fully engulfed in flames. Witnesses have reported hearing glass smashing and a motorbike speeding off at the time of the incident. A driver involved in a short pursuit in the CBD is now on the run from police. Just before 12:30 this morning, a Holden sedan with stolen number plates was spotted on Moss Avenue at Milestone. It took off from police on Anzac Highway and the chopper was called in to help with the search. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says the car was spotted again on North Terrace, but the driver failed to stop and then dumped the car on Russell Street before running off.
We searched the area with the assistance of Police Dog Judge, but unfortunately we haven't managed to locate the driver. So investigations are continuing and we ask if anybody had any information about that to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
The corporate regulator is being urged to investigate how life insurers treat people with mental health conditions. Nine's Maham Kashani reports.
The Public Interest Advocacy Centre says people who've previously sought mental health treatment have faced life insurance exclusion, cancelled policies or refused claims due to alleged failures to declare conditions. The group argues everyone should be able to access insurance that suits their needs without fear or stigma. A report shows since 2012 the Advocacy Centre has helped about 180 people with advice or representation over insurance disputes linked to mental health. Most were related to life insurance.
Rapper Travis Scott says he's reaching out to the families of the 8 people who were killed at his concert in Houston. Nine's US correspondent Michael Genovese has more.
24 hours after his Houston concert was cancelled, Travis Scott released a video saying he had no idea fans were injured and dying in the crowd.
Anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need.
The rapper says he'll help the families of the 8 people killed when the crowd surged towards the stage at his Astroworld concert. More than 300 people were injured. Police are investigating whether appropriate safety measures were put in place.
One of Princess Diana's close friends has revealed she was an advisor on The Crown for a while. Nine's Europe correspondent Brett McLeod has more.
Jemima Khan is former wife of Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan and was close to Diana at the time of her marriage breakup with Prince Charles. The film producer says she was brought in to help script the latest series of The Crown, being filmed with Australian Elizabeth Debicki playing Diana, in particular about Diana's post-marriage relationships and her bombshell BBC interview. But she says she quit the series and asked her name to be removed from the credits because her friend's story would not necessarily be told as respectfully or compassionately as she'd hoped.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
It's over to Tom Rehn.
Thank you, Mel. Let's start with motorsport. Max Verstappen has extended his lead over Lewis Hamilton in the Formula One Drivers' Championship after completing his 9th win of the season.
He wins the Mexico City Grand Prix. Max Verstappen crosses the line a long, long way clear of the rest.
Commentary there via Fox Sports. Hamilton finished second for Mercedes. Verstappen's Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez was third. Australian Daniel Ricciardo back in 12th spot. Meantime, Aussie Remy Gardner has one hand on the MotoGP2 title after winning the Algarve Grand Prix. And closer to home, Anton De Pasquale's strong form in the supercars has continued, finishing with another podium in race 25. Heavy rain red-flagged the race. To cricket, the semi-finalists at the T20 World Cup have been decided after games were played overnight. Pakistan crushed Scotland by 72 runs, meaning they finished on top of their group and will now meet Australia for a spot in the final. New Zealand also secured a spot in the semis after easily taking care of Afghanistan by 8 wickets. The Black Caps will play against England in the final 4. To soccer, Liverpool's 25-match unbeaten run has come to an end after suffering a 3-2 loss to a red-hot West Ham. The result lifts the Hammers into 3rd spot on the EPL table. Arsenal's up to 5th following a 1-0 win over Watford, while Leeds and Leicester drew 1-1. Everton and Tottenham also shared the points in a 0-0 draw. Briefly elsewhere, Novak Djokovic has beaten Daniil Medvedev to take out the Paris Tennis Masters title, and Norwegian Victor Hovland looks set to claim his 3rd PGA title, currently leading the Worldwide Technology Championship in Mexico by 4 shots with only a couple of holes to play. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Welland's got a car v motorcycle on Port Road near Wade Terrace. At Kent Town, water main works continued to Kettleville Terrace near Rundle Street, speeds down to 40 k's. And Myrtlewag asphalt works continuing there, crossroad between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions in place. Got cameras Adams Road, Craigmore, Main North Road, Elizabeth Downs. Want free delivery? Shop amazon.com.au. New customers enjoy free delivery on your first eligible order. Shop amazon.com.au now. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hereford Recliners, handcrafted for your ultimate comfort. Call 1300 114 118.
Partly cloudy today, 20. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. Then a shower or two Wednesday, 21. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
5AA's Business Lounge with Leith Forest.
It is the world's most exciting racing on water, and it's coming to the iconic Sydney Harbour. Yes, the much-anticipated Sail GP is back. I'm joined by Kyle Langford to tell us all about it. Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks, Leith. Yeah, Sail GP's back, and this is your chance to cheer on the Aussies as the sport's best athletes from 8 rival nations go head-to-head in the Australia Sail GP.
It is very exciting. So when does it all kick off?
It's happening across December 17th and 18th, and you can be front row for all the action as the supercharged F50s are unleashed on Sydney Harbour. You can have an even more memorable experience with front row seats on Shark Island, or you can join as an official spectator boat with Captain Cook Cruises. Plus, you can go behind the scenes with the team-based tours and watch the athletes and shore teams get ready for battle.
That sounds fantastic. How do we get the tickets for Sail GP?
Tickets are on sale now. Head to sailgp.com/Sydney today.
Thank you, Kyle. That website again is sailgp.com/Sydney.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 after 8, breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. Tina Rehn will join us in the next 15 minutes, and then after 8:30 today, the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh.
Well, over the last 3 months, we have done a lot of work talking to the Hospo Owners Collective, who represent small bars, pubs, entertainment venues, such as my beloved La Sing, where we held that special event for our listeners a few weeks ago. The 80% figure was hailed as the sort of watershed moment where a lot of businesses thought that the freedoms that they need in order to keep paying their staff and keep operating was going to be the point at which life would start returning to normal. Bit of frustration within the industry, and it's reaching something of a head today with a funeral being held in memory of Adelaide's live music scene.
Over 600 days ago, Stephen Marshall's transition committee flicked the switch, throwing the hospitality and entertainment industry into the dark, affecting 56,000 South Australian livelihoods, with businesses closing and many others unable to operate. Dance floors empty, bars struggling, bands and support industries decimated in debt.
We don't want to have any restrictions in place for one day longer than we need to.
It's been over 600 days, Premier. 67% of South Australians are vaccinated and growing. No community transmission for 99 days. No active cases in the community. What are you waiting for, Mr Marshall? The election? Stand with us on Monday the 8th at 11 a.m. in Peel Street, where we mourn the loss of our livelihoods and send a strong message to the government that enough is enough. Spoken by Jason on behalf of the Hospo Owners Collective and Let Us Dance.
We have Jason Makarenko in the studio with us, and we also have Simone Douglas, the owner of the excellent Duke of Brunswick Hotel, the Bruns. Thanks for coming in again, guys. And it's sort of a pity in a way that we're catching up again, because it sort of feels like Groundhog Day. Here we are again talking about the same old stuff.
Thanks for having us on, guys. Look, we thought that we'd be somewhat out of this. We were teased with 80% vaccination rate that most of the restrictions would be dropped. That was then changed to 90%, and we really have no light at the end of the tunnel for 90% that those restrictions will be lifted. So enough is enough, and today culminates in everybody getting together and just celebrating our industry. Will we get some change? We hope so, but we're sure as hell going to make a big noise.
In terms of the pub scene, Simone, how is it still affecting a business like yours, the Duke of Brunswick?
Well, at this stage, we've only got 75% capacity indoors and seated consumption, so that makes it really difficult in what is a peak time. So traditionally, pubs take between 35 to 45% of their annual revenue from the 1st of October to the 31st of December. So they've literally taken away our opportunity to make any cash flow buffer.
Simone, we might just get you to move mic there, because I think yours is just is playing up. So we'll get Lucy to have a look at that. Jason, if one thing could change at 11 o'clock this morning, you guys protest 7 hours, she goes, I'll give you one. What would it be?
For me, it's standing consumption. I don't know how Simone feels, and the face masks are particularly frustrating. The reason they're not releasing, letting us have standing consumption is because invariably that means you won't need the mask.
Yep.
Yeah, we
That's
take,
better. Now we've got you.
We've got me now. Okay. Look, we take standing consumption as a given, and I think the challenge, I was giving evidence at the Parliamentary Committee into the COVID-19 response last week, and they had a professor on before us who basically acknowledged the fact that there's no material difference between a private function where everyone's much more likely to go up and hug and kiss each other of 150 people, and at a wedding you don't know all 150 people. There's no difference between that and, say, 40 people in a front bar standing and consuming, like from a scientific perspective. However, for some reason the Transition Committee feels like in a room full of complete strangers, I'm going to run around kissing and hugging everyone because I must be that affectionate. Like it,
Is it harder to cop all of this when you look over to the eastern states now and look at the way, particularly in New South Wales, it's being managed, where they've said we're just got to start living with COVID the same way that we've historically lived with things like the common cold, and they're now getting to the point where they're escalating the return of freedoms faster than we are here in a low COVID environment or zero COVID environment?
Yeah, look, I think New South Wales is pretty much declaring that they're open for business, and I think that the big challenge is South Australia is declaring that we're opening the borders, but businesses aren't going to be able to let anyone in because our capacities mean that we can't fit any more human beings into our venues anyway. Also, if you look at the fact that the just-in-case restrictions that we've had in place for 100 days now, so just in case the Delta strain gets into the state, so we've had 100 days of businesses not being able to trade at capacity with no cases in the community. And now they're opening the door to let those cases into the community, and we're still stuck with the same restrictions.
Well, the protest kicks off in Peel Street at 11 a.m. I'll head down and say good day. I think it's a hugely important cause. We'll stay in touch on this, Jason and Simone. Thanks so much for coming in this morning for breaking it out.
Thank you very much.
Coming up to 16 minutes after 8, time to check traffic. The Glenelg BMW now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
Thanks, Will. At Gilman got a twisted traffic light on Eastern Parade near Bedford Street. Welland, Carvey Motorcycle Port Road near Wade Terrace. Kent Town, water main works continue to Kettleville Terrace near Rundle Street. Speeds reduced there. And Myrtle Bank, asphalt works continuing Cross Road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions are in place. What would you spend $12,000 on? Burbank Homes is offering $12,000 cash back plus a bonus gift for a very limited time. Burbank.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA News keeps Adelaide informed.
In breaking news, the verdict has just been handed down.
Police have tried to push back the protesters.
Always has.
Major problems in the state's mental health system.
Large crowds have gathered outside the courthouse.
Always will.
Fires burning into hot and windy conditions.
Anyone with information to contact police.
Always informing Adelaide.
British media are reporting
5AA News. SSA as AA.
For 37 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip. Now that spring is here, Steinborner Automotive Gawler has stocked up with 40 hand-picked 2018-19 ZB Commodores. Choose from a range of factory edition or special black edition with black roof and black wheels. That's 2018 and 2019 ZB Commodores from $22,990, all with a balance of factory warranty. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
88 O'Connell is coming to life. Architecturally designed by Woods Bagot, developed by the excellent people at Commercial in General, 88 O'Connell is seriously one of the most incredible developments to come onto the market in a very long time.
88 O'Connell encapsulates connected living with the swimming pools. They've got a state-of-the-art gym. There's indoor and outdoor dining. There's a fresh food marketplace. You'll have retail shopping. This is all in your building where you live. And, of course, you've got everything else that North Adelaide has to offer, and it's all right on your doorstep.
That's right. The 88 O'Connell Display Suite is now open, featuring a fully furnished two-bedroom apartment. Take the time to wander through. I checked it out at the launch. It's stunning. You can really appreciate this incredible development, the impressive design and the fabulous lifestyle it offers. Choose from 2, 3 and 4 bedroom apartments with exceptional views of the city, the hills or the coastline. 88 O'Connell, North Adelaide, more than an address.
Who can fix the shower?
Service today.
Who can fix the power?
Service today.
Yes, we can, is what we say at Service Today.
From emergency plumbing to electrical and heating and cooling, no matter what size job you need, at Service Today the answer will always be yes, we can. It's Service Today guaranteed or it's free.
Can you fix the shower? Yes, we can. Can you fix the power? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, is what we say at Service Today.
Look out for our bright yellow trucks.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
The NBN network is made for more. Streaming, game downloads, smart farming, online business, virtual learning and more. Search NBN Made for More. Experience may vary depending on factors such as NBN technology, internet provider, plan and equipment.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Well, David, today is the big day, the 8th of November. The Cabaret Festival will be unveiling the full program today, and we're joined by Artistic Director Tina Arena. Tina, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're good, Tina. We're very excited because we feel like we've been starved for entertainment for the last year and a half, but it's fantastic to be talking about stuff that's actually going to happen, and you are going to be here.
That's it. The famine's over. What can I say?
We can feast on cabaret.
The famine is over. Yeah.
So you're right. What are some of the highlights?
Well, the festival in itself, I think, is a highlight as an event. You know, there's not many places that can say that they have a successfully established cabaret festival that kind of has that kind of diversity of entertainment.
One of the things I really like about it, Tina, is that you're not just the artistic director, which is a coup in itself for South Australia, but you're going to be doing quite a lot of performing. You're doing the Variety Gala launch with the Paul McDermott, Doug Anthony All-Stars fame, which will be a lot of fun. But I'm really interested in your own show, Songs My Mother Taught Me. Tell us about that, and what role did your mum play in your musical development?
Well, it's not only that my mum played. I mean, my mum was pretty busy when we were growing up because she was sort of working 2 jobs and at that point, you know, all the arenas and stuff were all fairly young, and there was a numerous amount of, there was 10 of them all included. So family and stuff kept her very, very busy. But my sister was a massive musical fan and was probably the one most instrumental in presenting sort of different music to me as a kid. So it played a massive role in our lives. But also Mum, I remember Mum being a really big fan of wonderful female singers. She was into this female folk singer called Penberthy, who used to have these really wonderful songs that we used to sing as kids. And I guess that you do somewhat take on what it is that your mother shows you or exposes you to musically. I just remember it being really beautiful. So I just thought that it was perhaps time for us to pay tribute also to our earliest musical influences as women, but not only women. There will be some wonderful males that will be involved in that. But it is the early songs that you're first exposed to and how they live within us, most of our lives.
But beyond your own performance, the artistic director always brings a bit of their own flair to the way the program's put together and the entire festival. We spoke with Alan Cumming at times over the course of his tenure as the artistic director, and he brought a bit of Broadway to it because that's his background. What do you think the Tina Arena touch will be on the Cabaret Festival?
Well, that goes without say that Alan would bring Broadway because that's what Alan does.
Yeah.
And he does it so well. And he's an incredibly generous man, and I know he had the best time being the creative director. I guess, Alan brought that sort of Broadway thing. I think that next year is going to be pretty much an ode to perhaps more of the 70s sensibility, which also, it's cabaret in general, but there is a focus particularly in the 70s and 80s next year because it was also musically incredibly rich when we were listening to, the likes of the Donna Summers and the likes of the music and that came out of Studio 54 in New York and then from all the sort of discotheques around the world. And I think that people coming together to dance is really vital now more than ever. So I really feel that with what we've lived these last 2 years in being completely detached from one another, next year for me as the creative director is important that people are physically together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One of the other things...
And that means singing, that means dancing. So there is, the Spiegel tent's going to be hopping.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Pina colada room. Tina, this might be beyond your role or your duties as artistic director, but here in SA, I'm not sure if you heard the news, but a few weeks ago, Adelaide, the fantastic World Music Festival, announced that they're going to be back at Botanic Park next year, but the one proviso is that anyone who goes will have to be double vaccinated. Have there been any discussions like that at the Cabaret Festival?
Well, those discussions will obviously have to take place because they're taking place everywhere. But, it's really difficult for us as a population to have this kind of a discussion because I really feel that there has been a real division. And therefore, until we are all prepared to have an adult discussion about it, I can't really enter into it because I think, like many people, I'm really COVID fatigued. Like, I've had enough of it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I understand that people have their choices and that in a democracy, people have the right to choose. This is a big picture thing. It's a massive subject to talk about, but it has become really divisive in this country, and that makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be able to all let our hair down and think about anything other than COVID when it all kicks off. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, it's really important because art has really been silenced during that period. However, it hasn't been able to be at the forefront. We've had sport that's been able to happen, but we haven't had shows that have been able to happen. So, they're starting now, which is great and so forth, but it's been a long time. So we're still navigating day by day, but we're going to get there and the show will absolutely go on.
We are looking forward to it. Tina Rehn, thanks for your time this morning.
No worries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's going to be terrific to get along and get to a major event that's sort of a normal part of the calendar. These sort of things happen. It feels like the world's normal.
Yeah.
You go to Cabaret Festival or the Fringe or all the sorts of wonderful things that happen here in Adelaide. Unfortunately, something that's happening out on our road this morning. Marcus from Elizabeth's text us on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line says there's been a 3-car pile-up heading south on the north-south corridor just before the Grange and Port Road exit. So heading south on the north-south corridor just before the Grange Road, Port Road exit. Thank you for that, Marcus. Let's check on the fuel price. Where we're at on that front, thanks to Glenelg BMW. It's now open on Brighton Road. You can book a test drive today. It's kind of all over the place. So there's a few places that have jumped up to $1.79 again, but because of the sporadic nature of it, you'll find a few cheapers. We found a few cheapies. $1.49 on the OTR on Main North Road, Medindi. $1.48 along North East Road at Hillcrest. $1.51 at the Liberty Richmond on Richmond Road, and $1.53 at the OTR on Marion Road and Mitchell Park. If you see it around those prices, get in and get some, because we're going to get more and more around that $1.79 mark, which won't be unusual over the course of today. 28 minutes after 8.
Had an accident? Some insurers don't offer unlimited not-at-fault car hire, but Amy does. Just give us the other driver's details. So instead of being on a bus squished next to a bodybuilder listening to... oh, heavy metal. Lovely. You can enjoy a hire car. Just you and the open road. Go with the doers. Amy does.
T's and C's apply. Benefit stops when you get your car back or we settle your claim. Before buying insurance issued by AAI Limited, trading as Amy, read the PDS at amy.com.au. TMD also available.
Summer is coming, no doubt about it. And if you have a pool, now is definitely the time to make it summer ready. Oh, imagine having a pool. And that includes making sure you have a Walco pool blanket.
That's right. Got to get one of them. You will love your Walco pool blanket because it'll help preserve your summer of splishing and splashing in the pool. Yep. Your Walco blanket, it'll not only help keep your pool clean and warm, it will also help stop evaporation. And let's face it, we live in the driest state, so a Walco pool blanket is a must if you want to save money on water.
Exactly right. And it's not hard to put your pool to bed each night with the Walco pool blanket, especially if you've got the Walco pool blanket roller.
That's right. And look, the bit that we really...
No, I'm pausing for dramatic effect.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know what you were doing.
That was dramatic effect.
That was dramatic.
Because I'm saying...
It caught me off my guard.
It's a 2-part process.
Yes.
You get the blanket, then you get the roller.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Get to the really good bit.
The bit we really love is that Walco is the only pool blanket manufacturer in Adelaide.
That's right.
You won't even get it wrong if you tried.
No, none of that foreign rubbish.
Nothing's imported.
No, it's all done here.
There's no cheap imitations.
They're a great South Australian success story. Get your pool a Walco blanket for summer now. Walco.com.au.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell & O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell & O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell & O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
Wouldn't it be nice if talking to your loved ones about mental health was as easy as making a nice cuppa? Fleurieu Milk Company has partnered with Breakthrough to raise money for mental health research. Throughout November, Fleurieu Milk Company are donating 50 cents from every 2 litre farm fresh milk to Breakthrough. So let's get behind them and drive change. Look for the purple label and help make a difference. Search Breakthrough to learn more about their powerful research.
The Nissan Navara has landed. It's got a 3.5-tonne brake towing capacity, 1-tonne payload, and an intelligent off-road around view monitor. Contact your Nissan dealer today. T's and C's apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 20 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Had a bingle driving to work? Contact Premier Panel Services at premierpanel.com.au.
SA's hit a major COVID vaccination milestone just over a fortnight out from reopening the borders. The double vaccination rate has reached 70%. The next target for full inoculation is 80. Epidemiologist Professor Adrian Esterman has told Seven we're on track to reach 80 the week we reopen.
We've seen it in all the other states and territories. The rate of vaccination is speeding up as we get more and more vaccine available. It might not be the 23rd, it might be the 24th, but around about that time we will definitely get there.
The number of South Australians who've had one dose is sitting at 83%. Fears the COVID pandemic would lead to a tidal wave of business collapses has failed to materialise. New tax office data shows federal government assistance helped save many businesses and jobs. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg says new businesses have also opened up during the pandemic. He says more than $300 billion has been accumulated as a result of various lockdowns.
Now, this is a combination of government support, but also money that wasn't spent as the health restrictions, started to bite. That is money that is really going to generate economic activity going forward, and I understand a lot of businesses see that as an opportunity.
A Christie Downs unit fire is the second blaze at the address in a month. Around 1 this morning, emergency crews were called to Nadia Crescent. The flames were quickly extinguished by MFS crews, but the vacant unit did suffer significant damage, while a neighbouring property sustained smoke damage. A previous blaze had been reported at the address on October 11. A car fire at Shido Park is being treated as an arson attack. Police and fire crews were called to Spinnaker Circuit just before 2 this morning, where they found a Holden ute fully engulfed in flames. Witnesses have reported hearing glass smashing and a motorbike speeding off at the time of the incident. Investigations are continuing. Shoppers are being urged to check how much of the product they're buying has been reused during National Recycling Week. Federal Environment Minister Susan Lee says people should vote with their wallet.
I think when they pick something up and have a look at the label, is it recycled? And to really feel confident, because we kick-started the Recycling Modernisation Fund with $190 million. It's now at $800 million because business and industry and companies are all stepping up to manufacture recycled products.
The Adelaide Cabaret Festival has released details of its first 4 shows as it gears up for the 2022 event. Tickets also go on sale today for the Variety Gala event launch, Tina Arena's headline show, the Shanghai Mimi Band and the Pina Colada Room. Creative director Tina Arena has told David and Will she has a clear vision for what she wants from the June festival.
I think that next year is going to be pretty much an ode to perhaps more of the 70s sensibility. It's cabaret in general, but there is a focus particularly in the 70s and 80s next year.
Archaeologists carrying out excavations in Pompeii have discovered a room believed to be used by slaves. They found extendable beds which would adjust to the size of the person. Researchers say the tiny room is in an exceptional state of preservation following the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
What's happening in the cricket, Tom Wren?
Well, Mel, Australia is now locked in for a clash against Pakistan in the semi-finals of the Men's 2020 World Cup. That's because Pakistan topped its group after a 72-run win against Scotland. New Zealand has also booked its place in the Final Four, where they will face England. Let's go to motorsport. Max Verstappen has become the first Formula One driver to win the Mexico City Grand Prix 3 times. The Red Bull driver finished first ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who was second, while Sergio Perez came third. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo collided with Valtteri Bottas during the opening lap and finished 12th in the end. Let's go to soccer. Title-winning manager Antonio Conte's first game back in the English Premier League has ended in a 0-0 draw between Tottenham and Everton. West Ham upset Liverpool 3-2, while Arsenal is closing in on the top 4 after a 1-0 win against Watford, while Leeds and Leicester drew 1-1. Well, there were plenty of close games in the NBA yesterday, with Luka Doncic the hero in the best of them for the Dallas Mavericks. He had a buzzer beater to get the win over the Boston Celtics.
It's Luka against Josh Richardson, left side of the floor. Luka's three is a ring.
Going to get down.
Luka Magic on a Saturday night.
Luka Magic indeed. That audio thanks to ESPN. The Mavericks winning that game 107-104. And in some golf to finish, Norwegian Victor Hovland is set to claim his 3rd US PGA title. currently leading the Worldwide Technology Championship by 4 shots as he plays the 18th and final hole in his final round. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
At Gilman got a twisted traffic light on Eastern Parade near Bedford Street. Welland, Carvey Motorcycle Port Road near Wade Terrace. Myrtle Bank, asphalt works are continuing cross road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions in place there. And we've got cameras Anglevale Road, Evanston Gardens and Kincaid Road and Elizabeth East. Rivergum Homes, more choice and more value. Upsized 2.7 metre ceilings, 2.4 metre doors and built-in robes for free. Choose your home design at Rivergum Homes. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hereford Recliners, handcrafted for your ultimate comfort. Call 1300 114 118.
Heading for a top of 20 for your Monday. Partly cloudy tomorrow 22. Wednesday a shower or two 21. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 9, the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh, coming up very shortly. Christmas is coming up very shortly as well. It's the 8th of November. It'll be here before we know it. The good news is it means a lot of these wonderful Christmas events that are a fixture on the calendar are not too far away. And 5AA is supporting this year's Night at the Carols. It's going to be a fantastic evening featuring James Morrison. A whole heap of 5AA hosts and presenters are going to be there on the night, 26th of November at the Nord Concert Hall. It's all put on by our next guest, Dizzy Raymond. Dizzy, good morning to you, mate.
G'day, Will. G'day, Dave.
It's nice to see you face to face, Dizzy. The last time we spoke like this was in the Barossa Valley. You came and joined us in the on-site cabins at the caravan park in Tanunda.
Yeah, I almost slept over.
We had a big night that night. It was a lot of fun. But it's nice to be talking about doing things. I mean, we just spoke to Tina Arena before the 8:30 news, and in a similar vein, I mean, there's no way an event like this was going to happen last year. We're just talking about James Morrison and how he led the national campaign on Anzac Day last year to get people on any wind instrument to play the last post in the bottom of their driveway. So it's good that we're talking about getting together and enjoying the collective joy of song.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time, Christmas, and James and I, we're always mates, and we were talking earlier in the year, and we thought we should be doing something at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And COVID being kind to us, it has been here.
Yeah, it has.
We thought we should do it. And so he and I got together and we've come up with something that we think people will really enjoy.
So tell us a bit about the night. What have you got planned?
Well, it's going to be interesting because I wanted to involve, I think Christmas is the great community event. For 21 years I did the carols in the park and loved doing that. It's not happening now, of course, because of COVID. But community, that's what it's about. So we will have my group, Brilliant Brass. They're the best brass players in Adelaide. Wonderful group of selection of players. James Morrison heads it. The Rehn sisters, my nieces, who are, people know them, don't like using them sometimes because they're related to me, but they are the best. They are the best. And also people like Paul Bagshaw will come out of the thing. Bags is a great sax player, plays every week in his church, and terrific player. And he's going to do the Holy City, not Holy Hell, the Holy City. and that's going to be great with the band. We've also got a young bloke called Oscar Bridges.
Yeah.
Now, Oscar will represent all the wonderful young talent that we've got here in Adelaide.
He sang at our Best of SA dinner.
Yeah.
Sensational.
He's a superstar.
He is a superstar, and we rehearsed with him Saturday morning. Fabulous young bloke. Good looking too, which worries me when I'm on stage with better looking blokes than me.
So, Dizzy, there's a really exciting opportunity for our listeners this morning as well, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be, I mean, Cornsy's a big name with guitar in his own head, but when it becomes to carols and Christmas, we're looking for people to sing, Will.
So, like anyone?
Why are we looking at Will like that? Are you going to get Will to sing?
Yeah, Will doesn't sing.
Oh, well, there are limits. there are some that will and some won't. Well,
Yeah.
Will won't.
Yeah.
You should invite Jane Riley with one condition, that she's not allowed to sing. That was written into her contract.
I could never get Jane Doyle off the stage. Jane loves to sing.
Yeah, she does.
She's a big fan.
But no, we're looking at people in the audience, the 5AA audience. There are people out there who want to sing. We want 20 people to come up on stage, sit on stage all night, share the night with James, with all the people, and sing some carols.
Yeah.
And I have an incredible friend of mine, a great conductor, who's going to come in and actually conduct them. I'm going to prepare them with a couple of rehearsals, send them an MP3 so they can practice.
Yep.
And guess what? On the night, this person will come in and conduct. It'll be quite moving.
That's sensational.
I can't say who it is because we've got to keep secret.
Okay, all right. I thought you were going to do the reveal. All right, we're going to hold off.
Oh, no.
We'll hold off on that one. Okay.
That ought to happen just
on
the night.
For people that want to be part of the choir, the 5AA listener choir on the night, this is going to be absolutely fabulous. Go to 5AA.com.au and you can register your interest there. Is there any sort of base level of capacity? Do you need to demonstrated, 5 years working in a choir? Are there any sort of, is there an audition process or is it just you're in?
No, I reckon we get 20 people who would like to sing on stage.
Okay, simple as that.
Part of a great event, and we'll probably, if they're going poorly, get the audience to join in.
Okay, that's a good idea. Drown them out.
Yes. There are just these little things that we keep up.
That's clever.
But I just think there are lots of people. I did a concert in the Barossa last year where I got the people to sing the carols, and all of a sudden there was this voice, and there was a bloke at the back. He was a farmer. And he'd come along to the concert and he sang. I got him up the front singing, and I almost had to pay him. He was very, very good, but he doesn't sing anywhere except out on the farm with his sheep.
Well, maybe it's your hidden talent. Maybe it's a known talent. If you want to be part of that choir, 5AA.com.au for the 26th of November at the Nord Concert Hall. Now, we've got some tickets to give away as well.
Fabulous.
We're going to play a little game we like to call Don't Forget the Lyrics. It's got something of a Christmas theme. 8223 0055 is the number to call right now if you want to get along to Night at the Carols, 26 November, Nord Concert Hall. You just need to be able to complete a little lyric for us. 8223 0055. I'm reliably informed we're starting with something that's not too difficult. We want people to go along at the end of the day. Carols people tend to get. There's not too many that stump people in the past when we've done Don't Forget the Lyrics for these sorts of events.
No, they're sort of hardwired into your brain,
yeah,
aren't they?
that's the idea. This one, I don't know how do I phrase this? There's not a great number of different words in the 5 that you need to you sing to complete the lyric. Okay, let's go to Williston. I think we've got Darren on the line. Good morning to you, Darren.
G'day, mate.
All right, Darren. You need to, if you can complete this lyric, you are off tonight at the Carols. Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
You'll be doing all right with your Christmas of white, but I have a
good Christmas.
No.
Yeah, I reckon that was all right, wasn't it?
Oh, I reckon I could make those words. He was in a different language, wasn't he?
Des, can you give him a bit of help?
No, I just want him. I want him to be there.
You want him to be there?
I reckon that's a...
Well, okay.
He had a crack at it.
Well, as John Blake loves it when we give away things to people who got it completely wrong.
But I have a blue Christmas.
Darren, by virtue of popular demand,
you're
off to the big night. Because I tell you why, Darren.
I've never heard that song in my life. I've never heard that song in my life. Have you heard it, Bruce? Yeah, Blue Christmas.
Now,
okay, well, Dizzy's heard it.
Dizzy runs the whole show. Dizzy wanted Darren there.
Yeah, he did.
Dizzy makes the rules, John Blake.
And Christmas is a time to give.
It is
and we just gave tickets away for no good reason.
That was something. That's probably. I've never seen bigger givers like that on the footy field.
Oh yeah, no, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Andy's wondering if you've heard of Elvis Presley before. It's kind of a big deal in music.
I feel a top 5 list coming on.
I think it would be entirely appropriate. Dizzy, great to have you in, mate. All the best for the night. Look forward to the big reveal too about who you've got conducting the whole show. That's going to be excellent.
And there's one other reveal. We've got. I rang Santa Claus. You may know him, Dave.
Yeah.
We can't get him on.
No, he's busy. He's making toys. I rang him in Sweden at the moment. And,
right.
And he said to me, I can't be there. I was so disappointed. You always are. He's arranged for a helper, and it's someone pretty big in this town.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's going to be revealed on the night in a big box by some little kids.
Oh, that sounds like
And
a
when
lot
he
of fun.
comes out,
Sensational.
everybody will say, how come he's helping Father Christmas?
Well, now I'm really intrigued. Dizzy,
I am too.
great to have you in, mate.
Thanks, guys.
All the best for the night. Sounds like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. All right, and let's check traffic. Thanks to Glenelg BMW. It's now open on Brighton Road. You can book a test drive today.
At Rillington, got a multi-car smash in the north-south motorway. Left lane block just near Port Road turnoff. Gilman got a twisted traffic light on Eastern Parade near Bedford Streets. Myrtle Bank, asphalt works are continuing cross road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions in place there. And we've got cameras Adams Road, Craigmore, Haydown Road and Elizabeth Grove. Right now at Freedom, you can save up to 25% off a huge range of selected sofas and furniture. Don't miss out. Freedom's summer sofa event ends today, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
At Swan Security, we've been keeping Australian homes safe for over 30 years, and we're number one for do-it-yourself CCTV and video security. Swan has a complete lineup from wireless cameras and doorbells to complete multi-camera wide systems, all viewable and controllable from your mobile phone. And you can see the complete range of Swan's smart home security products now at Bunnings Warehouse. So turn your home sweet home into a home safe home with Swan Security from Bunnings Warehouse.
Now, if you're looking for a new bathroom or kitchen reno, of course, you want the outcome to be spectacular. What you don't want, though, is a bunch of stumbling blocks along the way, including broken promises.
Well, it won't happen at Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, where they never make a promise they can't keep. And for whatever reason, if there's a delay or something's not quite going to plan, you won't find out by accident. Coxie or one of his team will be on the phone to you quick smart with a solution.
And it's all about the journey with Coxie and the team. They go to extraordinary lengths to make sure the whole process is trouble-free. So start your journey to a stunning and, importantly, worry-free home renovation with Urban Bathrooms, Kitchens, Flooring and Shutters. They're Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit buyurban.com.au.
Are you looking to build your forever home? Would you like to age in place? Or perhaps you or a loved one is living with a disability? Design for Life is an initiative by custom home builder Normus Homes, giving you the opportunity to design and build a home to suit your specific needs without compromising on style. Normus integrates innovative changes today for enhanced livability tomorrow. To learn more about Design for Life, visit normushomes.com.au.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
Get 5-star ANCAP safety in the all-new Isuzu MU-X with autonomous emergency braking. The all-new Isuzu MU-X is extraordinary. Search all-new MU-X.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Keep on running.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
11 minutes to 9, behind closed doors coming up very shortly. But first, the host of Channel 7 Sunrise program, David Kosh, joins us. Morning to you, Koshy.
Morning, gents.
Pretty heavy heart talking about this today, David. The loss of Russell Ebert on Friday. Such a great South Australian, and for people at Port Adelaide, no one bigger than Russell Ebert. Remarkable man, remarkable life.
Yep, absolutely. We 150 years as a club, you have a lot of champions, you have a handful of legends, and I reckon he stands tallest of all the legends. Look, on the field, a remarkable record, premierships, record-breaking Magarey medals, just the balance he had as a player was just extraordinary. He could do anything, but sort of for me, he didn't just play for Port Adelaide; he lived Port Adelaide, and he's been part of the club, worked for the club up until about 6 months ago when he got really crook. He started our Power Community Youth programs, which are award-winning and really one of the prides of our club. So, and I can't tell you the hundreds of people that over the years have said things like, we had Mum's birthday at the Port Club and Russell Ebert wandered over and wished her happy birthday, or Dad's been doing it tough in the hospital and Russell Ebert visited out of the blue and wished him well. He just does. His whole life is all about looking after other people and caring for them, and that's what made him remarkable, I reckon.
Hey, Kyle, you get any information on the state funeral yet?
We're working with the family at the moment. It's likely to be next week, early next week, and Alberton was his home. That's where his heart has always been. So, we're sort of working through with the family on plans for the state funeral, but it'll be in our heartland, that's for sure.
Yeah, and wholly appropriate. We were saying before, David, both Will and I had the pleasure and the honour of meeting Russell socially. We're not saying we were mates with him, but he was one of those people, though, who made you feel like you were his mate. The first time you met him, I met him through school football. I had no idea what I was doing. Me being made coach of that little primary school team was a triumph of availability over ability. I could do it because of the radio hours that I work, and I was coaching a team that had Russell Ebert's grandson in it, and I used to laugh and say, mate, you should be holding the clipboard, not me. And he was like, oh, no, you're doing a great job, and the kids are loving it. And he was such a nurturing man. And I also saw him at a real, this is pre-AFLW, he hosted the Adelaide Women's Football League Best and Fairest night that I went to with Kate years ago at the old footy park. And he was there because he was a passionate advocate of the need for girls to have a pathway into sport. So he was such a community-minded person. He seemed to be happiest at that community level, like what you said about the visiting random strangers in hospital and that.
Yeah, but also the way he established our community youth programs across boys and girls, the Aboriginal Power Cup. He was always leading the way, and his acts of kindness know no bounds, and so many occasions where he's just brightened people's lives up. Mind you, he's also pretty vocal on the values of Port Adelaide, what it means to be a Port Adelaide supporter, what it means to be a player. Of course, Brett played for us as well. His son, brother Craig, was a legend of the club, and of course Brad, Craig's son. So the Ebert surname is Port Adelaide royalty. But if ever we strayed from what he thought was the Port Adelaide values in the community on the field, he'd let you know. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And he was like our soul. He would, just if we started to get a bit wobbly or get a bit caught on a decision, he'd very quickly put us right and say, hey, this is how we do it at Port Adelaide, and which was just wonderful. He was that important to us as a club, and will always be part of our club. The legacy he has left behind means that Russell Ebert is still with us for years and years to come.
Hey, Koshi, just before we let you go, a few of our listeners and Port fans have identified the issue we've got with regard to a state funeral in South Australia at the moment being there's a limit. There's 150 people that are allowed at funerals. Is there a way in which that you're looking at that perhaps fans might be able to participate in some way or watch along in some way?
Definitely, and that's what we're working through the state government at the moment, putting together COVID safe plans. That's why having it in a big area where we can accommodate people and have safe distances and things like that. We're working through at the moment, but there will be plenty of opportunity for supporters, members to be part of it, feel part of it, and even we know a lot of people in the Riverland have a massive connection. We will live stream it. We'll make sure everybody can be involved and pay their own personal tribute to Russell.
That's great. Beautifully said, David. David Koch from Sunrise on Channel 7. Thanks for joining us this morning.
4 to 9, it's time to go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
This is Mike Keelan's Gardening Show on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Right, and welcome back to Michael Keelan's Gardening Show, and Leith is here.
Yes, I'm here, Michael.
And, of course, Liz McCaskill's here. Hello, Lizzie.
Hi, Michael.
And it's now time for Garden Jargon with Lizzie.
Making gardening terms easy. It's Mike Keelan's Garden Jargon.
And this is the part of the show when Lizzie inquires about something she didn't know about the garden. What have you got, Lizzie?
Well, Michael.
Lizzie.
This is something I've never heard before. It's worm castings. I've never heard that before. Worm castings.
Right. Well, that might be understandable, even though there are bacteria crawling around on Mars that know what worm castings are, but I'll tell you what they are anyway.
Okay.
Well, Lizzie.
Michael.
A worm casting is the digested organic waste of worms. It's the most nutrient-dense compost that's available to gardeners.
Michael?
Lizzie?
You're talking shit?
No, that's exactly what it is.
No, castings.
It's the byproduct of worm farms or the vermicomposting process.
So it's worm stool?
Well, it's when the worm eats and digests the organic matter and then excretes it into the soil.
So it's worm turds?
It's the waste from their body, and it's called castings.
So it's a worm scat?
Well, it's the worms. They live in the soil, and all the time they just eat any rotting organic material they find, and it gets broken down inside the worm's digestive tract and comes out the other end of the worm.
Worm ass?
And when it does, it's called castings.
So, Michael,
Lizzie,
it's a steaming worm dump?
Well, they also have a liquid one. And what they do is exude the juice that is basically nutrient-rich liquid castings.
Michael?
Lizzie?
Backdoor worm trots?
Well, it's the liquid form of the...
a wet worm dragon?
It's nature's way...
Wormy bum sauce? Thunder down under the soil? A worm poop shoot?
Well, look, it's a
splatty karate?
It's more of a...
backdoor bath?
You've got to understand, Lizzie, gardening is disgusting.
Well, that's not the note we intended to leave you on, but it is the note that we'll be ending on. Leon Biner is coming up after 9 o'clock, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.